Hey.
Hey.
What's going on? So that was my fault. I just want to say something real quick before we play the intro skit. So we do have an update for this month. So Wayne T. Carr will be joining us on Saturday instead of Richard Citroni for the month. So that is a little change in the schedule. I just wanted to update people on that because it's going to be a good episode. And I just wanted to say a couple quick things before we did get started today. Thank you to everyone who supported the show over the month of July in our Breast Cancer Awareness Month. It's been truly special and super fun to raise money for a cause that's truly special to me. It's also overwhelming. I mean, we raised $200 in one episode with the Mark Pellegrino, so I'm sure for Wayne, it's going to be just as good. So thank you to everyone who has done, and all the channel memberships, everyone who's a member or sent anything outside of the donations or whatever. You guys are truly amazing, and we want to thank you. We also have our landing page now on the GWW, so you can go over to the GWW.com and find our podcast and any post related to the Pop Culture Corner. All right, guys. I hope you enjoyed Jivin' with Jack. We got special guest Paul or Donovan or someone from Into the West, I think. I'm not sure. They don't tell me anything anymore. I just own everything and pay for it and make everyone look good.
It opens. Well. Look who's back. You thought you could take my PS5 and just run away, huh? What happened to your leg?
I'm shot.
Oh! Wonder who told the cop to do that. So what happened after that?
They tried to put drugs on me rather than hoodie, and they pulled the hoodie off. So I was like, called an ambulance.
That treated you pretty well, huh? Well, I'll tell you this. I'm a compassionate person and my PS5 is back. What I'll do is you have the day off. But the next door neighbor, her Ford F-150 needs all 4 tires changed. I told her you would do that. Also, the jack for the car is kind of bad. It might collapse on you anymore. So she's waiting right now. Go ahead and do that. And let me know when you're done. Oh, one more thing. I've been trying to buy one of the back scratchers from Amazon. This will do for fun. I'll take that. This will just get in your way. All right. Good luck, buddy.
Thank you.
Welcome back.
Got your back.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, and genders of all ages, to this special presentation of Pop Culture Corner. I'm your host, Jack. Today we have a lot to talk about. I mean, here's a riddle. What's better than one black Superman? Henry Cavill Superman? No. The answer is 2 black Superman. Oh, we're going to get into it. And props to Michael B. Jordan, because he wasn't too crazy about doing a black Clark Kent. But beyond that, we're also going to talk a little bit about the controversy surrounding He-Man. Or is it She-Man now? Or is it She-Woman? I don't know. But you know what? You fans have been throwing fuel on this fire all weekend with your hateful comments. And I say, why throw fuel on the fire when you can throw in a stick of dynamite and blow it up? Plus, we are talking about Ant-Man 3. It started filming. I know that's not the name of the title. The actual title is kind of stupid, so I'm not going to say all of it. And we're talking about the Flash photos. Batfleck's Stuntman has arrived. Very exciting. Plus, we're going to talk about a new Exorcist sequel. 3 of them. 3 Exorcist sequels. Because, you know, The Exorcist has great sequels. And we're talking the Pokemon movie. Look, as President Biden said earlier today, thing over there. Translated into English, welcome to Jivin' with Jack. But first, look, it's our Live in July month. We are doing interviews. We are raising money for breast cancer awareness. And you can help us by using the super chats. Look, we do it for you and we do it for the culture. But me, I do it for the money. At least I'm honest. I don't help the poor or give to the poor. I don't help the homeless or anything like that. At least I'm honest. Someone's got to pay for my drug habits and my prostitutes. So, folks, I'm honest with you. I'm being honest. Please support the show. Please use super chats. Plus, as Ty said at the beginning of the show, we are going to have the Green Lantern himself, Wayne T. Carr, this Saturday. This is going to be a big one. Also, if you're new to the channel, make sure to like, share, and subscribe, or become a member. We have a 3-tier system for as low as $2.99 a month. You can help support us, and we need your support. Hey, it's the second month anniversary of Jivin With Jack. So look, Austin couldn't be here today. He was predisposed. And I said, Austin, I need you to send me someone good. Send someone who's faster, stronger, better. I said, get me Donovan from Into the West Comics. And Donovan said no. So they sent us Paul from Into the West Comics. How you doing, Paul?
What up, what up? I'm a good consolation for Donovan. Not quite, but
I do
I'm a good
appreciate
second
it.
choice.
I do appreciate it.
Absolutely.
How have you been?
I've been good. I've got a lot going on recently, but I've always make time when you guys ask me to come on here.
It's a big, it's a huge thing. So Austin's going through something. He'll be back. He's not gone. But he asked you, and I really appreciate it. I had a blast with you. You did the panel with us a couple of weeks ago about the future of the DCEU. Yep. And I felt so bad because all of us were like pro Snyder, and you weren't anti Snyder. You were just saying like, you.
I'm just not on the wave the way everybody else is.
And I respect that, but like the comments are like, this man, fire, burn him. I'm like, dude, relax.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah. So how was your weekend?
Pretty good. Spent a lot of time in the gym and at work, and it's nice to get on here and nerd out a little bit.
You got to get that jaw. Look at that jawline. Like I got that Jawser thing. It's supposed to improve you. Have you seen that?
Jawser size?
Yeah,
no,
it's like
I have
a
no
rubber
idea
ball.
what that is.
Yeah, you chew on it for like
a
minute, and it's supposed to
I
like
do know what
just
you're talking
double
about.
chin. Yeah,
that's funny.
But I keep forgetting to do it. I'm like, I should be doing it. It's supposed to help me because I was looking at pictures of me like 10 years ago and I didn't have this.
You look great. I don't know what you're talking about, man.
I actually started going back to the gym, hitting the weight. So I've been doing Insanity during lockdown because you couldn't go to the gym, and then they said, okay, you can come to the gym, but you got to wear a mask, and I couldn't do it. Like especially when you're doing cardio, the mask would just like hinder your breathing. But but now the mask mandate is gone. I went back. I just did legs and back yesterday. I'm going to go back tomorroh. Got to take it slowly because when you haven't done it in a while, your body's like
you don't want to hurt yourself. Yeah,
exactly. So light weights, high repetitions, nothing crazy. But listen, we got a lot to talk about today. So, producer Caden, send us a transition if he's there, or maybe Todd. So over the weekend, let's go back a little bit. We heard a couple months ago that J.J. Abrams is working with Warner Brothers, and they're going to work on a Black Superman story, right? And Ta-Nehisi Coates is going to be writing it. And people were like, is it going to be Val-Zod? Is it going to be Calvin Ellis? And it turns out, no, it's going to be Clark Kent.
Yeah.
And then over the weekend, we hear that Michael B. Jordan is in talks with HBO Max to possibly do a story. Now, according to the article, I think it was Collider who broke the story. He wasn't too crazy about doing a African-American Clark Kent. So the rumors are, again, it's only rumors, that he will be playing Val-Zod.
That's what I had heard too.
And so then I heard, okay, so they're going to do this instead of the Ta-Nehisi Coates, J.J. Abrams one. But no, apparently they're doing both. And Henry Cavill is still nowhere to be seen. What do you think about this?
I think it's cool to get the characters like Val-Zod and Calvin Ellis. I'm not as familiar with Val-Zod as I am Calvin Ellis, and there's honestly not as many stories about Val-Zod as there is Calvin Ellis. Like Calvin Ellis is actually a pretty big part of the event going on in DC Comics right now called Infinite Frontier. He's like, there's like a Justice League of characters from different Earths and different what's it called? Like
universes.
Versions of universes. There's the word I was looking for. And Calvin Ellis is leading them. Thomas Wayne, his Batman is in there with them, and like there's a bunch of stuff they're doing with that. And so point being, Calvin Ellis is one I'm more familiar with, but Val-Zod is just as cool as a character to get to see
Now-
on the big screen.
So is Val-Zod? I guess he's not related to Kal-El at all.
He is
Or-
the adopted brother of in his universe. What I can tell you from the top of my head from memory. So he is adopted by Jor-El, and he is Superman's adopted brother. Jor-El and everyone, all those guys die in the same manner with which they do in the regular universe. And I do not remember what happens to Clark, but he dies as well. And then Val-Zod takes up the mantle of Superman.
Interesting.
And I wish I could remember how that all happens, but I do know that
Yeah.
is what.
I'll be honest with you. I'm such a purist when it comes to comics. Like, I did not read Miles Morales until like recently. They're like, oh, Miles Morales. I'm like, Peter Parker's my boy. And like, even Batman Beyond, which I enjoyed watching, I'm still like, dude, can we get more Bruce Wayne? Because that's how I am. But here's what I think.
I get it.
Here's what I think happened. Because the question always comes up: what the hell is Warner Brothers doing? We're gonna have two different Supermen, both black Supermans. You know, okay, you're trying to, to be more diverse, but now like this is what I think happened. So here are my theory out. They wanted to do the new Clark Kent, Ta-Nehisi Coates, J.J. Abrams with Michael B. Jordan, and Michael said no.
I think that's likely, yeah.
HBO Max, so they're going to go forward with another African American or African actor to play Clark Kent. Then at some point, discussions were had with HBO Max, and Michael B. Jordan's like, hey, he's going to be producing it. If I were to do it, I don't want to play Clark Kent. Apparently, he's not crazy. But I want to do it this way. And HBO Max is like, dude, we just got Michael B. Jordan, one of the hottest actors on the planet right now, not just physically, but in terms of star power.
Yeah.
And Warner Brothers like, well, green like that too. What about the other one? Well, green like that too. And I think right now I wouldn't be surprised if, because Michael B. Jordan is such a huge star right now, they might put the kibosh on the J.J. Abrams, Ta-Nehisi Coates story and go with what Michael B. Jordan does, because Michael B. Jordan is who they want. And right now, I don't see them doing both. They might do both, but it might seem like, Warner Brothers shot their wad when they didn't have Michael B. Jordan. Now that they have him and he doesn't want to do what they want, they might go another route. But it's going to be a limited series, apparently, so it's not going to be like a TV show.
Like it's going to be similar to what The Watchmen was.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
It seems like HBO Max, even though it's under Warner Media, is a little bit more in tune with what fans might like. Because the news to this one was more positive, I think.
Yeah, and the what's it called? The release of the Snyder Cut alone would kind of lend credence to that. I think right now, anything they announce, I want to see get made. I think the more the merrier. I think what Warner Brothers needs to do is just make movies. Just make what they say they're going to make and put it out and start throwing stuff at the wall and making things, and you could do your multiverse or whatnot. And I just think they got to start making stuff. They got to start putting stuff out, because the first since this DC universe thing started, Snyderverse or whatever you want to call it, they've put out how many movies? 6 or 7?
6 or 7, at least part of the main DCE. That's not including Joker.
And Marvel puts out that almost in 2 years.
Yeah,
and it's been almost a decade. Well, now, when did
Man of Steel came out 2013?
It's been almost a decade, and they haven't even had.
They still haven't figured it out yet.
They've had like 10 movies, like a movie a year. That's if you want to have people come in.
I appreciate it, because I had my issues with Black Widow. It felt so like manufactured in a factory, because not to get ahead of myself, the early reviews for Suicide Squad are coming in. They're really positive. Granted, that could be because the fans are in the theater watching it, provided by Warner Brothers. But I would be against if they took their time and made good stories. The question I have is that it seems they really don't want to move forward with Henry Cavill. Like, okay, 2015, 2016,
it seems to me like they don't know what they want to do with Henry Cavill. Not necessarily that they
because
don't.
He's a big star now. I mean, he's going to be, they're talking about him possibly being in Mass Effect. He's going to be in a Highlander franchise. He's already in The Witcher. Like, he's hot, and he's still young. He's not like 50. He's still like, in his late 30s. And as we can see from Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, you can be pretty pumped until you're 50. Make a Man of Steel 2. Okay, it may not be Zack Snyder's Man of Steel 2, but at least make that Superman movie. He's popular, and it seems like they're willing to try everything but that.
Yeah, it seems, and that's kind of like what I'm talking about, though. It seems like they are just like they're hemming and hawing about what they're going to make instead of just making whatever they're going to make. Make a Val-Zod movie. I don't care. Make a Black Clark Kent movie. Also continue this Snyderverse with Henry Cavill in it. I don't care. I know some people might feel it waters it down, but if I can watch 3 movies in a year and a half with 3 different Supermans in it,
we're gonna have 3 Batmans next year.
I'm not gonna be mad about that.
We're gonna have Michael Keaton and Ben Affleck in one movie. We're gonna have Robert Pattinson in another movie. Technically 3 universes, but 2 movies. If they can do it with Batman, they can do it with Superman. But there has to be some kind of. I was thinking, like, could you imagine an Avengers Endgame scene? But instead of all the people from one universe, you get Michael Keaton's Batman, Ben Affleck's Batman,
bunch of different versions.
Just do something like that.
And you know the thing
Nick
is,
Carr has a question real quick. Thank you, Nick Carr. Thank you, Adam Silvestri, for the super chats. I appreciate it. I was joking earlier when I said I have a drug ad. These will go for breast cancer awareness and for the production of the show. Austin Lean gave $2. But what was his question? I think he asked, do you think Henry Cavill will ever return? What do you think? What are your inklings?
I think he returns in some way, shape, or form at some point. He's too popular. Too many people enjoy him as the character. Now, in what capacity? I don't know. Will he be a major part in a major movie? Will he? I don't know about all that. But do I believe he will show up at some point in some movie? Again, yes, I think 100% sure. I'm 100% sure of that. And I talked about this on that panel a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
I think a lot of what's going to happen with DC is entirely dependent upon this Flash movie. I think it's how it's reacted to, how it does monetarily. I think a lot of stuff and decision-making is hinging on what happens in this movie. And I think kind of weirdly, again, Marvel and DC are on a crash course for doing the same kind of event movie around the same time. Like when Civil War and Batman vs. Superman came out, they had a movie come out where it was a good guy versus a good guy, and they had that kind of those same kind of pillars of movies coming out around the same time. And now Marvel is moving towards having a bunch of different versions of the same characters involved with each other, and so is DC. Yeah. So it's like it keeps coming around, and I think DC for once looks like they might actually beat Marvel to it.
I was just about to ask you that.
It may not seem like it matters, but it does, because in the casual consciousness, people see that Marvel did it, and it doesn't matter or whomever had did it first, and they gravitate towards who did it first. Unless it's terrible, they gravitate towards who did it first. And that's a big reason why the DC universe gets so much crap, because Marvel's universe is fantastic, and it came first. Yeah. People have a lot of nostalgia for it.
Are you a baseball fan?
Yes.
Okay, so let me give you an analogy. Early 2000s, Joe Torre's team. Marvel right now is Joe Torre's Yankees team from like 96 to like 2003. Yep. Just pure dominance, right?
Yep.
DC is the Boston Red Sox. Almost there.
Almost.
And like recently, they're like that Game 7. Remember, what was that guy's name? Aaron Boone hit the walk-off home run.
It was Boone, yeah.
I think this could now be, you know how the Red Sox, they won in 04, they won in 07. I think they won in
down 3-0 to the Yankees in 04, and it hurts my heart that they came back and won it and finally turned that corner. Yeah. I don't think that's a bad analogy.
Yeah, exactly. I think DC right now, look, you just said Flash could be the turning point. Let's ignore the fact that it might erase the Snyder stuff. That's possible. We don't know until we actually see it. It could still be a good movie. I think it'll be a phenomenal movie because Andy Muschietti is an auteur. He has his own style. I think he's going to do something great.
I agree.
Given what we saw with the Joker, which wasn't DCEU, given that the Suicide Squad will be R-rated, DC may not beat them at the box office, but they could do something more creative. They could do things a little bit differently. You know, in the last few years, I mean, Suicide Squad isn't comparable to anything in Marvel. I would say it's more like The Boys or even Preacher, where it's going to be irreverent. It's going to be unapologetic, and James Gunn has that sense of humor. I think that it could be a 1-2 punch. Here comes James Gunn's The Suicide Squad, which is not going to be family friendly at all. It's not. You're going to take your kids dressed up like Harley Quinn to see this movie. It's going to be bloody. It's going to be violent, and don't apologize. And here comes the Flash, which is going to do the multiverse. It has the nostalgia factor. We know Michael Keaton's coming back. We know there are rumors that Sasha Kaje's character, there's just rumors, might be related to Christopher Reeve's Superman. Again, that's just rumors. But if they were to do that, I mean, they have the opportunity to pull a 2004 off.
Yeah,
when they're down 3-0, come back. David Ortiz hits the famous home run and then wins 04, wins 07, wins 3 World Series. And again, I don't think they'll be doing $1 billion per movie, but
they could turn a corner real soon. I agree. And I think DC has done something very smart and with the Michael Keaton thing, because like as big fans, we may not like really realize it, but like my mom is excited to see the Flash movie. My mom doesn't give a crap about any of this stuff. My mom is excited to watch the Flash movie because she loves Michael Keaton and remembers watching that. Exactly. And he is people's Batman. And from a marketing standpoint,
number one choice. Yeah.
Bringing Michael Keaton back will get a lot more casual people to go, oh, I want to go watch Michael Keaton be Batman again. They don't have to care about the movie or anything. But that'll get, at least opening weekend, notwithstanding how good the movie is, they'll get a lot of more butts and seats because people want to see Keaton as Batman again.
Real quick, TW McKay, you're a Blue Jays fan. I'm a Phillies fan. That 93 World Series, the city still gets mad about that when they hit the walk-off home run when the Phillies had the lead and won the but that was a phenomenal Blue Jays team. So I have pain and misery too.
I'm a Yankees fan. We just talked about some pain and misery being up 3-0 and then losing.
I have a soft spot for Aaron Boone because that's my favorite game of all time. The one where Aaron Boone hit the walk-off. That game was written like it was a movie, like a script. Yeah. And then Aaron Boone's father, Bob Boone, was the catcher, part of the 80s World Series team. But the real quick thing about Michael Keaton, here's what's interesting. So I was born in 87. So even in 89, 90, 91, which is like my earliest memories, that movie was still hot. Like nowadays, movie's hot for 2 weeks, a new one comes out. Everyone was talking about that movie. It was a huge box office success. He was my Batman growing up. And
he was my Batman growing up too. I was born in 96, so it's later, but still there was
but like
it was between
up until
Clooney, Keaton, and Kilmer. It was Keaton.
And then Keaton sort of had a resurgence with Birdman in his career. And
that movie is fantastic, too.
Phenomenal film. But, like, here's what's interesting. And I post pop culture stuff all the time on my personal page. Never gets any likes, because all my friends or people I'm friends with aren't necessarily into that stuff. But when I post a Michael Keaton thing, people go nuts.
Yep.
People who are older than me, younger than me, they're like, that guy was my Batman. Because that movie, people forget, had such an impact. Maybe it doesn't age as well compared to, like, The Dark Knight or, stuff like that, but that movie was huge. It was number one for weeks. People were stealing the posters out of bus stop signs. That might be the edge they have over the Spider-Man movie. It might not make as much money as a Spider-Man 3 what's it called, No Way Home. It might have a bigger impact. You know what I mean?
I 100%. I think Keaton is especially for the little bit of an older crowd. Like for example, my mother or any of my other family members who are a little older, they aren't like, oh, I want to go see Tobey Maguire again. Not that they don't want to. It's just that they hear Keaton's going to be Batman again, and they're like, well, that's crazy. That's super cool. I want to be honest with you.
I prayed for that when I was a kid, and Batman Forever came out. I remember didn't want to see the movie. I was like 8 years old. I'm like, Dad, I don't want to see it. He's like, oh, they got the guy from Top Gun, Val Kilmer. What happened to Michael Keaton, And I remember being in class in second grade, arguing with kids. You're like, oh, my God, Jim Carrey was so good. I'm like, no, I don't want to see that, And I feel like 8-year-old me has been vindicated. Oh, yeah, Tyler's a Red Sox fan. Yeah, I respect the Sox. You're a Yankees fan? I have no hate for the Yankees, even though I'm a Phillies fan. I love the history of the Yankees. It's just a phenomenal team. So, like, there's no hate. I'm not like, oh, I don't like the Mets, though. But
should have taken Pedro out.
Yeah. They should have taken Pedro out, yeah. Who was the knuckleball? Tim Wakefield? Was he the one?
Tim Wakefield.
Yeah. You got a guy with bad timing and a guy who's not hitting right. Boom, magic happens. But yeah, listen, what do you think? Do you think the Flash movie, I know we talked about this on Wednesday a couple weeks ago, but do you think the Flash movie will kind of do away or kind of retool the Snyderverse so that
like the only like kind of reference I can make to it is within the comic industry itself, and nothing ever really like goes away when they revamp continuity. It's still there. It still happened in some way, shape, or form. Like even with the New 52. So like the timeline of events for DC Comics, it was the mainline runs from all the way back from all the crises, and the crises had rebooted things, but it never like wiped the slate clean. And then the New 52 happened, which, if I'm not mistaken, what was the event that I can't remember off the top of my head what the event.
You're the comics expert.
Yeah, I know. I'm dropping the ball here. But the New 52 did wipe away decades and decades and decades of continuity, and that made people mad. but there was still little droppings of stuff from that. Like it never completely went away. And they, like, for example, Batman Incorporated, Grant Morrison's, his run was so iconic that even though it was still part of the old continuity, they carried it over into the New 52. And then eventually the New 52 kind of ran its course, and they reset the universe and brought back into continuity within universe all the stuff that had happened before the New 52, and even some of the stuff that happened in the New 52, which I'm saying New 52 a lot. And now everything is canon now. Everything that you've ever read happened. So my point being is I think it will be something like that. Maybe after this movie, things change and a lot of stuff that's people loved from the Snyderverse gets wiped away so they can have a clean slate and can tell more stories. But then once they get those new stories in place, they will have like some kind of controversy to bring back things that happened in the Snyderverse and then go, okay, well, this happened with the timeline or in the universe or at the source wall or something. So now this character from the Snyderverse who was wiped away, he's back now.
Yeah. So my producer just reminded me that the Flash movie isn't Flashpoint really, but what I think they're going to do is in the same way that BVS took big concepts from The Dark Knight Returns, it's not an adaptation, but it took big ideas from that. I think they're going to take the Flashpoint story, take aspects of it, and put it in a Flash movie. But do you think
Flashpoint is also the comic I was trying? Flashpoint is
Flashpoint. Oh, okay.
52. Yeah.
Yeah. So let me ask you: do you think you're doing too much with the Flash movie? Because here's the thing: he was introduced in Justice League, and as of right now, the 2017 version still canon, and we haven't seen him on screen. It's going to be by the time this comes out, 5 years? They kind of have to reestablish who he is. I'm not saying do quite an origin story, but they're going to have to do that and explain the multiverse. And I think unless this is a 2.5 to 3 hour movie, they might have to rush a lot of things.
I think it would behoove them to not go too deep into the Flash character, not necessarily bring it all the way back to an origin. Just go, hey, he's a dude, he's fast, and he's got some what's it called? Some tragedy that happened early in the life. You know what I mean? And they can elaborate that on movies throughout time. Like kind of like, I guess the best example I can think of, Spider-Man's more well known, so it was easier to get away with. But with Spider-Man Far From Home, Homecoming, and Civil War, they didn't explain to you Spider-Man's backstory. They just threw him in there and went, here's this character and this is what he is. And you can build a character without their backstory, if that makes sense. You can tell a story about how that person is like. And I think, point being, I don't think they need to do an origin, and I hope they don't.
Well, here's the thing, though. I mean, okay, so I always compared Batman and Spider-Man to James Bond a little bit, in the sense that everyone knows them. Like when they introduce a new James Bond, they're not like, oh, by the way, this is who this guy is. Like people already know. I think you can do that with Spider-Man just because we had gotten 5 films at that point, including 2 origin stories. With Batman, we've seen his origin almost in every movie. We saw it in the original Batman. We saw it in Batman Forever. They do flashbacks. We saw it in Batman Begins. We saw it in BVS. With The Flash, there's a television audience who knows his story, but I think the general audiences, they know he's fast.
I have an example for you as to why I think it could work without giving a backstory.
Okay.
Mad Max Fury Road. How many people do you know that are in love with that franchise and know everything about that character and how it came to be? Not very many. There's people that like the movie. Mad Max Fury Road comes out. Do they give you any backstory for Mad Max in that movie? No, none at all. They give you no backstory for him at all. They just put him there. This is the character. He acts like this, and you build the character that way. That's why I don't think the Flash necessarily needs a backstory in the movie to build upon people. And you can do little stuff like for example, like in Batman versus Superman or whichever movie it was, when Batman turns and kind of looks at the Robin thing, and you kind of get, okay, he had some kind of tragedy happen in his past. He could have
show don't tell.
You could have a picture of Flash. He could be being Flash, being himself, being goofy, whatever. And he rolls out of bed and like he has a picture of him and his mom on his bedside table, and he like rolls over, gives it a kiss in the morning, and then gets up and rolls out. And that tells the audience, oh, this guy's mom isn't around. He's hurt in some way, shape, or form, and he has some kind of tragedy, but we can move on. We know that, and we can tell the rest of the story. We need to tell this movie without bogging it down.
Some rumors have been thrown because of set photos that we see people outside of a courthouse, that the trial of his father, because for those who know in the comics, his father is in prison for killing his mother, which isn't true. But I think that there's going to be a court case in which, you could sell exposition because that's what an opening statement is. That's what whatever. So this is the case: the people versus Henry Allen. Henry Allen was accused of killing his wife, Nora Allen, and you could do it that way too, which is I think they might go. But did you see Lights Out?
Which one is Lights Out?
That's the one where they turn the light on. Andy Muschietti's first film. Like I think it was his first.
And it's like the character. It was based off like a short film, right?
Yeah. That was a short.
Yeah, okay.
Like he turns the light off. You see something there. You turn it on. It's gone. He's such a all of a sudden I was like, this guy's got something, And one thing I think DC's doing really well. They're getting auteurs to do it. James Gunn is an auteur. Zack Snyder, whether you love him or hate him, is an auteur. Joss Whedon was kind of an auteur at some point. James Wan, he's an auteur. He makes these are men and women. And Chloe, who made Birds of Prey, whether you like it or not, she's an auteur. They're trying to. I think that's something DC can do. Like, okay, instead of trying to connect everything like the way Marvel does, just tell a really good story. And if what the lightning in the bottle that I saw with Lights Out in terms of what Muschietti can do as a director, I think Flash. It may not have a huge opening weekend, but it will have longevity. You know what I mean? Like,
right. It'll have what they call
word of mouth. Yeah,
they call it legs.
Oh, sorry. Lights Out. I'm sorry, I made a mistake. David Sandberg did Lights Out. Then what did Andy Muschietti do?
Andy Muschietti did It.
Sorry. Oh, see, guys, this is why I need Austin here. Or now I have Paul. Sorry, my fault. You're right. David F. Sandberg did Lights Out.
Yeah, I didn't know who directed Lights Out. I just took the word for it.
That's my fault, folks. I blame Caden. He's our producer. No, I don't. Thank you for correcting me, Caden. Sorry. Okay, so did you see the It movie? Let's have the same conversation about it.
Yes, and that's funny because I was actually about to bring that up, and I was going to say we know Muschietti can handle a big blockbuster movie because he's done it twice before.
Yeah.
Although I didn't, I actually haven't watched the second It movie. I really loved the first one. Mm-hmm. I didn't hear the best things about the second one, and I got a lot of crap going on.
So basically,
I haven't had a chance to
see lot of people have been kind of crapping on the original miniseries. What the original miniseries did well, they start with the story in the future and then go back because the exciting stuff happens in the past. Yeah. So like when you do the second half of the story, like if you were just to, like go back to the miniseries that was done in the 90s, if you were just to watch the adult stuff, it's not really that great of a story. What makes it work is they'll flash back at certain points. And you said that's how the book is. And so it worked better.
God forbid. Holy crap.
Yeah, I read the book recently, and some of the stuff involving, what was the girl's name and her father?
Beverly,
yeah. The stuff with her father.
And it's also the longest book in like the history of time.
Oh my God. Is it longer than The Stand? Because that's like
I think Bible. It is. I do believe it is at least. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that it is what's his name's longest book. Hold on, now I'm curious.
Well, we have Caden find out what's longer, It or The Stand. But The Stand is actually pretty good. So listen, let's take a look. Let's transition real quick, and let's take a look at some of the. Since we're talking about the Flash, let's transition into the Flash. All right, folks. So, Caden, bring up these set photos because people have gotten excited. They've been saying, "Where's Ben Affleck?" So technically, that is not Ben Affleck. That is his stuntman, but that is the Affleck Batman. That is his suit. He's got what looks like to be a modified. It kind of reminds me of the Bat-Pop, but it looks kind of beastie. I like it. He's got sort of the shades he had in Justice League, both versions. It's interesting. He's doing this, but Affleck himself hasn't quite shown up yet. And I'm going to do this real quick. The reason we haven't seen Affleck doing the Flash yet is because he's doing this. That's where he's at right now. Yeah, I blame him.
I can't blame him either.
Oh, my God. So, listen, if you had to, the rumors have always been that Keaton is going to supplant Affleck. Again, that's based on pure speculation. What are your? I know you gave some of your thoughts a couple of weeks ago on the Affleck Batman. He's killing people in BVS, but in Justice League, he seems to be more of the traditional Batman. Yeah.
I don't hate the. I think the Batman in those movies is exactly what they set out to do, and I think he's fun to watch. I like you said, you're a purist. I like Batman because I like Batman. I like Superman because I like Superman. And it's fun to have these twisted like takes on him, but also I'd like to see.
Apparently, it is. Just real quick. Apparently, my producer told me it's the same stuntman for Robert Pattinson, but he's doing
stuff for the Flash.
Yeah, as Batfleck. So it's a little bit confusing. Which is interesting because the stunt man is huge compared to Pattinson. I wonder if you're going to notice like a size change in the movie.
Yeah, I don't know. It's possible. And that was something, I mean, kind of get off on a tangent. That was something the people who were like making stuff up were kind of talking about, that Robert Pattinson didn't get big enough. And what's the director's name? Reeves was annoyed with him. But
I've heard
a lot of that stuff was debunked. A lot of that stuff was debunked.
Yeah, I've heard those rumors too. Because apparently the rumors I had heard was, again, these are rumors and none of it's been substantiated, that they actually didn't have a COVID outbreak. They actually took a couple weeks off for him to get a little bit bigger, and then he didn't. I don't know if that's true or not.
Yeah, I heard
Matt Reeves anymore. Again, none of that's, and if it were, we'll probably never know.
Well, the Matt Reeves thing is like 100% not true. There's a lot of people who came out afterwards and was like, "This is untrue. They're making stuff up. They've already signed on sequels or have been signed on to do sequels to both of them together." So that a lot of that stuff got. But as far as the getting like larger thing, I'm not sure about that. There's probably some credence to that. Yeah. But so back to
I heard about that apparently Matt Reeves, caught them on the Batmobile.
I think that was debunked too. I think that was
because then the rumors like, oh, she's pregnant. I'm like, well, is she?
I think that was like a Doomcock thing. That's what I
that dude. Oh my god.
But so there's like just the way that Ben Affleck's character acts, or Batman acts, like from like it's mainly Batman versus Superman. That movie, the way he acts in that movie drives me nuts. Yeah. And I am not a fan of it. And if you are, fantastic. I'm not going to try to convince you not to. You can try to convince me to be, but it's not going to happen. That's where I'll leave that. But I do think Ben Affleck is fun to watch as Batman. He didn't look like he cared very much in Justice League, but that's understandable because that was an absolute mess. He looked like he was like Bruce Willis in that movie, just kind of showing up on the day and doing whatever. But I'm excited to see him back. I'm not going to like. How
about the Snyder Cut? Because that was a different performance they'd done.
I think he's much better than that. I think he's in the stuff they reshot and things like that. He is much more Batman in that than he is in Batman versus Superman. And he actually is engaged as an actor. At least that's how it came across to me. And I enjoy the Snyder Cut. I think it's way too long, so I'm probably never watch it again. But I do enjoy it, and I think it was a vast improvement upon the Justice League.
Well, to be fair, and a lot of people will say this, so like, oh, there's no way this movie is too long. The truth is, if this was going to be a theatrical version, they would have cut it.
No way.
We know. It's just that it's going to be on HBO Max. Fine, I'll make it. I'm going to throw everything in there.
And people who have never like I went to school for filmmaking. I did things like that, and I understand that every single movie that you have ever watched, every single movie that has a production company attached to it, the producers have gone to the directors and said, hey, you're not allowed to have it longer than this. Yeah. And then they look at it and say, we would like it if you cut this, this, and this out. Yeah. Sometimes it works out. Sometimes you don't even notice it. Yeah. I guarantee you there's stuff that Feige and people went to, like I saw something the other day. There was like a small like snippet, like where there was going to be a WandaVision Doctor Strange fight, and they cut it out of Endgame or something. And it's like that. It happens with every movie you've ever seen.
Yeah, every movie's cut. Yeah,
every movie is cut down. And if you think that movie wouldn't have been cut down, you're wrong. And if you think they were wrong for cutting it down, you're also wrong. Show me a 4-hour movie that has been successful at the box office. You can't, because like there's literally not one. It's because people don't want to go sit in a movie theater for 4.5 hours. They've got things to do with their lives.
Exactly. You know what I mean? Yeah. So like, even if I said, look, at worst, Warner Brothers might have, let's say in another world, let him get away with a 3-hour movie. Even that, I don't think. Apparently, they wanted it to be to 2 hours. But look, because it was HBO Max, because you can binge watch it or whatever. He's like, I'm going to put everything in there. Chances are, there's a lot you could cut out of the movie and still get a good 3-hour movie out of this. But he was like, I'm going to give the fans everything. In fact, I'm going to shoot new scenes and I'm going to do all this and that. But would you like to see Affleck continue? If there have been rumors for a while that they might do a look, if they can do a Michael B. Jordan Superman series, I would love a Ben Affleck, Joe Manganiello, even what's his name, Jared Leto kind of like miniseries, a 5-arc or 3-arc, story told on HBO Max. And I would say at this moment, like you were saying earlier, tell HBO greenlight whatever you want.
And that's exactly what I was about to say. That's what I mean. I just want to see everything. I want to see everything you guys can do. Give me as much as you possibly can. Like Marvel has given us, and I know we keep going back to Marvel. It's the it's the pillar to compare it to. They're the big movie, big comic book movies. One is extremely successful, one is extremely controversial. But we look at Marvel and where they're at with their release schedule since COVID ended and they were able to start making stuff again. We have gotten a substantial series or movie every single month since they started. We got WandaVision, then we get Loki, then we get Black Widow, or excuse me, Captain America and the Winter Soldier. Sorry, I burped. Black Widow, Loki, and now we're gonna get what's the next one on the slate? I believe it is.
I think it's Shang-Chi, and then the Eternals,
and then Hawkeye and Eternals.
Oh,
and
yes, Hawkeye.
We're getting almost 10. We've had like we were just talking about. We've had how many DC Universe movies?
I think it was
like on the high end 10, something like that. We've had 10 in a decade. We're about to get 10 major motion pictures or series from Marvel in 6 to 7 months.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. DC needs
I think that's almost too much. I'll be
stuff.
honest with you, and this is my opinion. The chat knows my opinion on this. Out of all the things you mentioned that came out so far, the only thing that impressed me was Loki. I thought Loki was phenomenal. I didn't like WandaVision. I didn't like Falcon and Winter Soldier, and I did not like Black Widow. And
I love the Marvel formula. I'm a fan of it.
Yeah, but I feel like when you crank it out too quickly, and look, we thought like a couple years ago when they were doing 3 a year was too much. There's very little time to kind of absorb something. Like what was cool about Infinity War and Endgame was there was that 1 year in between where you have to kind of let it simmer in your brain that these characters were dead. And then, you bring it back with the end of Endgame. I'm not saying I think DC should make more stuff, but I don't want them to do what Marvel's doing, which is like every 2 weeks something new comes out.
And I disagree. I'd like to see. I get where you're coming from, but I just give me content. Just give me stuff. I just want to see it.
If people are willing to watch it,
and I'll watch it, especially stuff like that. Like I'm not gonna watch a cartoon that has 30 episodes a season, like that kind of stuff. I'm not gonna do. I'm not into that kind of thing. But if you're gonna give me a movie and then a 6-episode series and then a movie and then a 6-episode series, I'm cool with it. I can still sit there and think about the other stuff while I'm enjoying that stuff. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
At least for me. And I get what you're saying. You get to sit with it and bake with it and like kind of like what's it called, bask in it a little bit.
A little bit, yeah.
But I don't know. I don't really find myself needing that or wanting that.
Yeah.
And I just like getting all this stuff and watching it, and I'm not sitting there going, I mean, I guess, see, it's like, I can't wait till it comes out. It's like, well, I don't want to have to wait, and I don't with Marvel, and I would like to have that. And like, I guess that kind of, maybe that comes from like the comic book reading culture. I pick up a bunch of new comics every single week, and I read new shit every single week, and I'm constantly being, what's it called, satisfied from a content standpoint. And that's what maybe not 10 things in 7 months like Marvel, but 3-4 things a year, not 1-2 every year.
Well, I mean, if the rumors are right, okay, so we're gonna have the Ta-Nehisi Coates J.J. Abrams Superman film. We're gonna have the Michael B. Jordan TV series. We're gonna have a Batgirl series. We're gonna have a Gotham PD series. And look, I trust HBO Max more than I trust Disney Plus because I know HBO knows how to make event TV shows. I mean, this is the network that gave you the first 6 seasons of Game of Thrones. They gave you The Sopranos. They gave you The Wire. They're not just going to give you something that's generic. And sometimes I feel like with the Marvel formula, it's starting to get a little bit generic. I thought Endgame was amazing and the way it ended. And I feel like since then, it felt like those Phase 2 movies, which was like, well, here's the next story with this character. And it kind of follows the same format. And I want DC not to do that. And I understand, like, at least with the Snyder stuff, they were trying to do something different, and maybe they didn't.
Even the Snyder stuff was formulaic. It was just Snyder's formula.
Yeah.
And we only had 3 movies, so you couldn't really get – it's hard to get tired of something or have something be bland after 3 movies. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, like, to be fair, like I said, I enjoy the Marvel formula. I liked Black Widow. I thought it was fun. I enjoy the banter. I know some people are annoyed by it. I want to go watch an action movie that's funny. I don't have to watch something that's dour all the time. Yeah. Watching dudes jump around in tights and capes. I don't need it to be the saddest thing ever. And it can also be sad.
My worry is that if they'll do that to Blade, if they'll do that to Daredevil, if they'll do that to Punisher.
I don't care if they do it. For me, I don't care if they do it to Blade. I don't care. Blade is a freaking half vampire fighting vampires in the middle of the night. if he takes himself deadly seriously, it's going to be kind of corny to me.
But it worked in the movies. I'm saying, like, the Punisher, Daredevil, these are serious characters who do serious things. And if you make them like a villain like Wilson Fisk, as they did in the TV show, I can't see Marvel doing that. I'm saying I would like them to do a villain like that. I mean, I think they did it with Thanos. Thanos wasn't cracking jokes. He was actually scary. He was actually kind of intimidating, and you also kind of understood him. I would like to see more of that, where the villain is actually scary, because the scarier the villain, the more heroic the hero looks or heroine looks when they have to defeat him or her. And I guess what I'm saying is, like, I'm worried if they take that formula and apply it to characters like Daredevil, or I think they're going to recast Luke Cage, or even the Punisher, that they're going to lose something of the character. Because the Punisher is my favorite Marvel character. And, like, it is sort of a no BS type of character. And I think rumors are Matthew, the guy who played Daredevil in the show, is going to be in either She-Hulk or Spider-Man. Yeah, he's going to be in She-Hulk. I hope that same TLC that was given to those characters on Netflix is given to them in the MCU, but then I worry that they're going to do the kind of comedic banter all the time. But it doesn't really work with those characters.
I think it can. I really do think it can. And like I said, I can only speak for myself. I enjoy that kind of stuff in these movies, where it's like for me, it's never undercut anything. Like the moment. Like, okay, I'll talk about a scene from Black Widow. If you haven't seen Black Widow, spoiler alert, it's been out for a couple weeks.
Yeah.
If you're in this chat, I imagine you probably see it, or you've decided you're not going to see it at this point. Don't care about spoilers. So the scene where Florence Pugh's character, Yelena, is in there with Red Guardian, and they're like being like, it's kind of sad, but they're being goofballs. And then he starts singing, what's it called? My Miss.
I like that. I love
that part.
Yeah.
And that part is a perfect example for me of why I love, like, Marvel does a great job of mixing in the comedy with the seriousness, still being lighthearted, but also hitting you where you live. Like even the end of Endgame, when Peter goes up to Tony Stark, they're not like deadly serious the whole time. They're not like, and it can work being deadly serious. I am just a fan of it being like kind of, people like real human beings. They crack jokes at times they shouldn't, and they say things like, you know what I mean? And
I feel like sometimes it undercuts the drama, like even Black Widow. So I'm going to take two other scenes of Black Widow. There was one, I don't know, I get what they were trying to do. I just thought it was silly when she's talking about the vests and pockets. I'm like, dude, this is something that's been around for like 70 years, but maybe they're kind of playing like the dumb Russian. Like, I have vest, it has pockets here. Look at that, very nice vest. And then one scene, I was just like, oh, okay, so you have a villain that basically kidnaps women, does all this horrible stuff, and then she's doing it almost in a joking way to like, yeah, they went and took my uterus out, scooped it up, and I'm like, I don't know if that really worked for me. I was like, dude, that's some serious stuff, and they were trying to sell it with humor, but it didn't like jive well for me. I felt like at times they're too jokey. Like, let's take the end of Infinity War. You have a lot of humor in that last battle, but then there's a point where the humor stops, and then there's no humor for the last like 10 minutes or so. I think it goes from when when Thanos stabs Tony with the when he breaks off Tony has like a and from there's almost no humor for the end. Like, there's humor throughout that movie, but then when the movie got to get serious, it's like, all right, this is going to get serious right now.
And by no means am I saying that I don't think that they overdo it sometimes, or it's misplaced sometimes. Of course it is. Sometimes you're like, I've been like, well, that wasn't really funny, or I don't know why. Like, there was a lot of it in Age of Ultron. Like they tried to make what's his name, Aaron Taylor Johnson's character kind of goofy, and none of that really landed for me. But with that said, when it has happened in Marvel movies, it really hasn't bothered me that much. I'm just like, oh, whatever, a throwaway line, whatever. I don't have to deal with it, or it doesn't impact my enjoyment of the film. And I think it does well for movies like this, especially when there's a bunch of aliens fighting in space. Yeah. And you need like a moment of levity or a moment of, hey, this is kind of nonsense, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because it is nonsense. And I like, what do they call it? Hanging a lantern on it. Like, this is stupid. Like, what is happening right now is absolute nonsense. And
Austin says like that Paul is a Marvel simp. Just kidding.
I mean,
let me compare it to like, okay, let's take the third act of the Snyder Cut, the version. I think what really worked about that movie, because Steppenwolf could have just been generic alien-looking villain, but the fact that in that third act there's not much humor, it's like, no, this is serious. Like, there was humor in the Snyder Cut. A lot of people will not notice it. There is a lot of humor in that, but when it comes to that third act, I think the third act needs to be sold Winter Soldier does this really well. At a certain point, the humor kind of stops because the Winter Soldier is deadly. Robert Redford is scary, and it does look like things are going to go crazy. Because when you add humor, it's sort of like, hey guys, everything's going to be fine. And what Infinity War does is like you have the humor for about 2 hours and 10 minutes, and the last 20 minutes, no humor. But anyway, like, look, you like Black Widow, that's fine. I understand that. But like the Punisher, if you read the Garth, I don't know if you ever read the Garth Ennis run on the Punisher.
I actually haven't.
Okay, there is humor in it, but holy crap, it's more like, well, Garth Ennis wrote The Boys. So imagine that type of like humor inside, you know, a Punisher.
And I think
like
the
dark,
Punisher,
disgusting, like, dude, like, you know.
I think the Punisher is a harder character to sell that kind of humor on than a character like
Well,
Blade.
he may not be humorous, but like in his coldness, he can be humorous, you know.
Well, yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like, I think the kind of goofy, like normal Marvel humor will work for a character like Blade because of how ridiculous that character is. But for a super grounded character like Punisher, I do agree.
I think Blade would come off as super ridiculous given everything we already have in the MCU.
Have you seen the Wesley Snipes movies?
Have you seen the first two ones? Like he is humorous, but like you know, how do I put
those
it?
movies are ridiculous. I love them.
The first two. Oh, I love the first two.
Yeah.
But like he himself is serious. Like some mother F is always trying to skate up.
Yeah, but he's like so over serious that it's almost funny a lot of the times.
Oh, really? I love like Guillermo del Toro did that second one. I love it.
I like it. I think it works for the movie. Him being like so over the top that it's almost kind of funny. And it does work, and I do.
It was also an late '90s, 2000 movie, like, you know, where they took it a little too seriously. And I'll be honest with you, a lot of people did not know that was Marvel. A lot of people went to see Blade back in the day, didn't know it was Marvel. There was no Marvel logo or anything. It's an R-rated movie with Wesley Snipes killing vampires. But okay, so how about Daredevil? You're a Daredevil fan?
Yeah, I really, really enjoy Daredevil.
Do you think like they could? Okay, so like Vincent D'Onofrio, apparently rumored he's going to be in a Hawkeye because someone posted a rumor and then he liked that rumor.
Mm-hmm.
I worry with a villain like him in the greater MCU, because he is part of the MCU, just not that part of the MCU, that they would nerf him because he was both scary, intimidating, and in a weird way vulnerable. Like those kind of subtle things that D'Onofrio could do as an actor could get undercut if they were to bring him in. You know what I'm saying? Like, again, you can still have the humor, especially him up against Spider-Man. Spider-Man does the humor, but then you also have to kind of make him scary. And that's sort of, I'm a little bit worried about the MCU.
I'm not as worried about it because, those Netflix were Marvel. They were produced by Marvel, so they have clearly demonstrated that they do understand those characters because they were the same production teams and the same people working on them.
My understanding was the showrunners were still Netflix guys. Like, Netflix picked the show.
Yeah, but Feige was still, like, involved, and all the guys were heavily involved, and they were, like, outlining things and what they could and couldn't do and what was allowed. So I have faith that those characters will be translated well and brought over. And if we're asking, like, what are the chances, like, John Barenthal returns as Punisher, Charlie Cox returns as Daredevil, I think it's high. I think we see those characters again. I don't think Luke Cage. So I don't think we get the same Luke Cage. I don't think we get the same Jessica Jones. I don't even know if we see those characters again for a long time.
Because Luke Cage, I think that actor walked away. He's on another show on CBS. Yeah. He's kind of moved on.
He's really good in that show. Fear.
Evil.
Oh, evil, not Fear.
It's actually a pretty good show if you like that kind
I've
of
watched a couple episodes. Yeah, I enjoy it.
Pretty good. And he plays a priest. No priest is that jacked. I'm Catholic. I've never met a priest that's jacked, but he plays a priest well. Like, I'm someone who's met a lot of priests, and like the kind of humbleness, he's good. I think he's moved on. I still root for Terry Crews. I think he'd be a great Luke Cage if they were going to do that. And again, Mahershala Ali was in Luke Cage, and now he's going to be Blade. Yeah. Do you think they incorporate Charlie Cox and John Bernthal following up, or do they reintroduce them? Like, okay, we're going to ignore those. We're going to reintroduce Kingpin. We're going to reintroduce Charlie Cox.
I think what they'll do is they'll kind of take what they want from those and say what they want to say was canon from those. Yeah. But I think you're right. We will get the same actor playing the same character, but whether or not those Netflix shows actually happened will never actually really be answered or not. It'll be like
you ever watch the old James Bond movie? They had the same cue from like the 70s to like the late 90s. And at no point they're like, wait, why is he working with Sean Connery here, Roger Moore here? It'll just be like, no, he's the same cue. They did the same thing with Judi Dench's character. She was in the Pierce Brosnan ones, playing the same character, Daniel Craig ones.
Yep.
And I think they'll have to reintroduce these characters. I think it'll be kind of fun. I was always on the mind that they should take Punisher, Daredevil, Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, or whatever, and just put them on Hulu, which now Disney owns like 70% of, and keep the story going, or put them on FX, put on network or cable TV. What do you think would work better?
Definitely not cable, because cable has like a lot of, like, it's hard to make a really high production show on cable. CW is a perfect example of that. And it like hamstrings you as to what you can and cannot do in the show. And like cable's not as bad as it used to be, but it's still like I would prefer it to be on like a premium access kind of thing where they have kind of more like Hulu or whatever, where they have more kind of freedom to do what they want and it's their platform and they're not beholden to anything. So I would prefer it to be on, like, if they did continue it as a show, I would like it to be on like Hulu or something like that.
Because they have said they're going to make Deadpool 3 rated R, and I still have my, I guess, apprehensive because I'm just kind of worried that they won't do that. That they'll make it.
I think they will.
You think they will?
Yeah.
Because then, like, the issue is like, look, as big as Marvel is, a huge constituency of Marvel, of the MCU, are children, and if they introduce Daredevil into the MCU, how are they going to square the circle of like, yeah, you got to see all these movies. Oh, here's an R-rated movie that you can't take your kids to see.
Well, I think it'll be the same way as like the, you know how they were coming out with those charts of like what movies you needed to watch and what movies you didn't need to watch. I think it'll be more self-contained stuff for Deadpool, and then maybe something little will happen in it, and he'll like, and you can just hand wave it. He'll be in like the next big event movie, and it'll be mentioned in passing that this is what happened. I talked about this on shout out my show Into the West Comics last week. I was talking about it. I think that what these Marvel shows have done, they are fantastic. They are essential in a way, but also you could explain away what happened to them in the shows in a movie in a second. You don't need to go see the series if you don't want to. Like, all right, what do you need to know from Falcon and the Winter Soldier? Falcon is Captain America now. You could tell that in a movie super easily. Don't have to spend a lot of time on it. Yeah. What happened in Loki? Timeline split off. Loki helped break the timeline. You don't have to really elaborate on that too much. You don't have to have seen it. Easy to explain away. And then WandaVision.
And you're saying they're going to do that with Deadpool. Like, he'll have his third movie, self-contained, and if he shows up in Avengers 4, they'll just be like, oh, yeah, this is Deadpool. I always thought it'd be funny if Deadpool shows up in, let's say, a fourth Avengers film and starts cursing and they bleep it out. He's like, wait, am I being bleeped? What the?
I think they should do something like that.
Like, what? Oh, I forgot. We're in a PG-13 movie, you know?
Yep.
Mother beep, and just keep bleeping it out. I think that.
I would love that. I would love that.
Yeah, did you see that thing where him and Korg watched the trailer for the new Ryan Reynolds movie?
I saw a lot of clips from that clip, but I haven't actually watched the whole clip yet. I heard it was a lot of fun though. I just for whatever reason haven't sat down and watched it.
Paul, I'd like to say that my show is so good that we have 19 viewers right now, but I think it's all thanks to you, man. So I know you have to leave pretty soon. So not soon, but you do have to leave.
Yeah,
at some point. Not yet. So
no, I ain't going nowhere.
We're gonna transition and we're gonna talk about we're gonna talk about something controversial. And I think someone is gonna be joining us. So let's talk. Folks, even if you don't watch Masters of the Universe, you're gonna want to hear the controversy, because on Jivin With Jack, we love controversy. Hit it, Caden! And you said you were sick, you bastard.
What's up? Well, I just wanted to stop it and say you're all wrong, all right? And
the healthcare system, the healthcare that Austin has is so good. They recreated his room in a hospital room. Look, that's so.
Yeah, I'm actually in a hospital right now, being tested and worked on and experimented on. They're turning me into that version of Terminator from Terminator Salvation, which is actually a good movie in my opinion.
That's the only decent sequel. They should have kept going on with Terminator Salvation.
Whoa! What's with the rolling of the eyes there, Paul? You got an opinion? You got something to say?
Look. It's okay that you think Terminator Salvation is a good movie. You're wrong, and it's objectively a bad movie.
Hold on a second. I would say that of the sequels, what they were at least trying to go, I would have loved to have seen more of that future war stuff.
Me too. I think that was a great setting. I think it was a movie that fell flat in pretty much every way. But
wait, are you telling me you didn't like Arnold Schwarzenegger's CGI Arnold? Like,
dude, the guy with the fake body or the different dude with Arnold's head CGI on top of it.
Yeah, you told me you didn't like that.
I thought that nice body oiled plastic.
Yeah.
And the thing with the heart at the end or whatever, that was one of the dumbest things I've ever watched.
See, I would rather watch Terminator Salvation over Dark Fate, man. I saw Dark Fate and I was like, why did they do this? They have so much potential.
Wasn't too bad either.
Oh, it was. You like Dark Fate? I didn't like it.
I thought it was all right.
Genesis was a piece of garbage. Anyways, Masters of the Universe.
Look, it's over at T2. That's all I say. Terminator 2, they saved the future, end the story. But yes, Masters of the Universe. Well, I was going to give a little bit of a breakdown. Austin, you seem pretty excited. You want me to go? Okay, so here we go.
I think we're gonna have some opposite opinions. That's why I wanted to join in for this.
I know, because they kind of Last Jedi'd this thing. So basically,
oh god,
it's called He-Man, Masters of the Universe, right? But the first clue you have is called Master of the Universe Revelation. Now, I'm not a He-Man fan. I've seen some of it over the last few months. I've watched some of the episodes on Stars. I hadn't seen it since I was a little kid. I wasn't a huge He-Man fan. I grew up with Batman, the animated series, X-Men, Spider-Man in the 90s, those Fox Studios shows. And He-Man was like kind of like on its way out. But basically, spoiler alert, in the first episode, He-Man dies. He dies.
Does he really though? Does he really
Well,
die?
here's the thing. But even if he doesn't really die, we're not sure. Chances are he'll be back. The show becomes about this character, Teela, and her friends fighting, not Skeletor, but Evelyn. And I saw the first couple episodes. I didn't think the show was bad. But fans don't like it because they're fans of He-Man. They're like, dude, you killed He-Man.
Okay.
And whereas, okay, and here's the problem. The marketing of the show made it seem like it was going to be He-Man. So, gentlemen, thoughts and opinions.
Real quick before you go, Paul, I want you to start by what's your history with the Masters of the Universe? And the He-Man?
I've got time. I've got like 30, 40 minutes. I'm good. I'm in no rush to get. I just want to make sure I have time to get ready to go to work. I got to be right at 4, so I should be good. But I watched. It was one of those things where I watched a lot of the Masters of the Universe cartoon when I was little. But I was little, and I remember vaguely stuff. I had like a Battle Cat toy. I have a He-Man toy. I have a Skeletor toy. And the toys are my connection to the Master of the Universe stuff, not necessarily the show. Like that's how I remember it. So like the characterizations and this and that. Like I know Skeletor more from memes than I do remember watching him in the show, if we're being honest. Him being a cackling idiot, which I love. But that's my background with Masters of the Universe. Watched it when I was a kid. Have vague memories of it, but remember playing with the toys more than anything else.
How about you, Austin?
I ain't connected to this shit at all. I went in blind. I didn't know a damn thing.
The show was pretty good. Like, I'm not a huge fan, but I kind of liked it. I wasn't too bad. I followed the story. I kind of enjoyed it for what it was.
Phenomenal. I thought it was excellent. I really did. I thought it was great.
Let me put it to you this way. How would you feel if, Matt Reeves' Batman comes out next year? They market it as a Batman. It's called Batman. And he gets killed in the first 30 minutes, and then Batgirl becomes the main character. Do you get why fans would be pissed?
So, hold on. I have something. I think I might finally get the chat to understand where I come from with Batman versus Superman with this. I think I finally have an opportunity to connect with your chat.
Go ahead.
Tyler likes to say I like to stir the pot. I just like to try to have people understand.
Anyone who disagrees with Tyler is stirring the pot.
You are mad. If you're mad about the He-Man thing, it's similar to the reason I was mad about the Batman thing. I went into that movie expecting to see the Batman that I know and love, who is characterized the majority of time in the comics. Don't come at me with a panel from 1955 where he hung.
I hate that. I'm going to just that, yeah.
You're a dummy if you do that, and that's the truth. If you're like, well, this one time, okay, well, the vast majority of the time, the Batman character is characterized like this, and that is the one that I know and I love and have read stories of. So I went into that movie, and he started acting like an absolute goof, just like... You'll never connect with us. And he starts doing things that he would never do, and just like from him as a character standpoint, the one that is the canonical one, the one that does all the things that you know and love him for, and he starts acting completely different. And I expected to see the Batman that I love, and I didn't. Now you guys who love He-Man have come to watch this He-Man show and expect to see the He-Man that you know and love. Instead, he dies and you get some other character and you're not seeing what you wanted to see when you came to see it.
Point. Absolute. Let me just go on a tangent here. So I'm not pretending to be a comics connoisseur. I have 5 boxes of comics up there. 99% of them are Batman and Punisher. Like, it's almost all Batman. Mm-hmm. The idea when people say, well, in 1939, Batman did use a gun. I'm like, come on, in 1939, Alfred wasn't even his butler. He was some guy who chased him. He had a different name. Like, that, the canon of Batman has always been he does not kill. Now, I understood what Zach was trying to do, and I kind of, for my, I pretty like, okay, I didn't like that.
I get it too.
To show but you're right, and I never took it out on fans who are like, well, this is not Batman. I'm like, no, you're making a fair point. Like, this is not the Batman that is supposed to be Batman. So props to you. I get exactly what you're saying. I always understood your point that, yeah, Batman is not supposed to kill. He doesn't kill. You know, that's
I thought it was great.
You like The Last Jedi. Who cares what you think?
I like The Last Jedi too.
Oh my God.
Listen, The Last Jedi is brilliant, all right?
I think it's brilliant too. I think it's top
brilliant.
3 Star Wars movies, actually.
I agree. But with Masters of the Universe, Jack, you keep saying something that's bothering me. It's getting on my nerves. You know, it's the pain in my side, if you would. Is that
you should go see a doctor.
Yeah, well, I am. Okay, no. But look, it's that you keep saying. Look, I know the show's about He-Man, but it's not called the He-Man show. It's called Masters of the Universe.
Agreed.
And so I understand all of you guys have your ties. It's very much like this. I guess the reason why I thought Last Jedi was good and why I wasn't as pissed as everybody else is that, sure, yeah, I had like wants of what I wanted Luke to be in his old age or whatever. But
Luke
at the same
acts like
time,
Luke in that movie. People are out of their mind.
Yeah. But at the same time, too, like the way that they did, I wasn't so close-minded watching that movie that when he showed up and did that, that's the thing. So many fans, when he threw that lightsaber, just turned it off and said, "Nope, that's not it."
Yeah, no, that's stupid. No, that's my issues with the movie.
And so
I don't want to get to the last.
Everybody is like, "Oh, He-Man died in the first episode. That's not it. I hate it. It's not." But like the core of this show is about He-Man. The whole show is like, how do we get?
I told you I liked it, but I'm not a He-Man fan. I'm talking about what the fans are saying. Here's the problem, and this is where I think a lot of the issue comes out. If you watch the trailers for the show, it very much made it seem like it was going to be a He-Man show. Like he's in the trailers, and Tila is barely in it. Like she's in it, and she's hot. Props to that. Very heavy metal-esque, if I may say. And then Kevin Smith was asked, like, dude, are you going to kill off He-Man? There's a famous exchange. Like, no, this is about He-Man. We're not doing it. So then he kind of misled them. And then Kevin did something which I thought was wrong. Yesterday he said, well, Netflix doesn't care what you think. And I'm like, dude, they did this with Star Wars. They did with here. When the fans say something, you don't immediately dismiss the fans.
I actually would agree with that, though. I don't think Netflix cares what the fans think, and I think that's why they're so successful. In a weird way, I know they're not, because look, this first part, right?
Elaborate.
You're talking about Netflix? You're talking about Netflix?
Right. I'm talking about Netflix. So like this first part, has like a 30% audience score of Rotten Tomatoes or something like that. Yeah. Guarantee you, the second part, I would put money on it. The second part, that whenever it releases or whatever, it's gonna be incredible. Everybody's gonna love it. They're like,
I don't think people are gonna tune in. I mean, like, I'm not a He-Man fan, so like, I'm not that torn up about this. I never played with.
I think they will.
I think Jack makes a good point. I actually think Jack is making a very good point. Could they be doing something interesting and bringing back He-Man in the next part and doing something cool with that? Yes, but if you can't get the people to come and watch him come back because you alienated them, you made a mistake. Yeah. Whether you are having like maybe the show could have a renaissance a few months from now when people go, oh, we can actually sit down and watch it. But at least initially, when you're going to get the biggest bump in viewership, if you have alienated the people who want to watch it and they don't watch part 2 because they're annoyed, whether you have something great planned or not, that's a failure of marketing. And that's a failure of putting things forward.
I'm going to use an example, Paul.
But here's the thing.
One of the reasons Warner Brothers did all that they did between 2016 and 2017 was because there was such a mixed review to BVS. Like, you guys will agree with that. And a lot of fans are like, well, what the hell did you do to Batman? Ben Affleck is great. He looks great. He looks the part. He's a great Bruce Wayne. But what did you do to Batman? I have always posited that had Snyder had full control and released his movie in 2017, it still wouldn't have done well because the anger about BVS was so high and Suicide Squad that, look, going into Justice League in that opening weekend, people didn't know all about the drama that was going on. The general audiences didn't know about the drama. They were going to see Zack Snyder's film that Joss Whedon just put together.
They
people
still weren't
interested.
That's what I'm saying. Netflix is depending on the fan base of the IP. Netflix knows that no matter what, whether it's Kevin Smith, even if people thought the show was trash or whatever, they're still gonna watch the sequel. Why? Because it's Masters of the Universe. If you're a fan of it, you're gonna watch it. It's just like the DC stuff, except for the select few that really don't affect the overall like DC thing when they decide to quote unquote boycott or not like go see stuff. Like besides that, we're all seeing the DC movies whether we liked the last one or not. You know,
I don't think it's because the DC has so much content. Like if you're a Batman fan or you don't like what happened to Batman, Batman's not really going to be in the Suicide Squad. He's probably not.
Sure. And hey, I may not be like a big Masters of the Universe guy, or you guys not, but I have seen over the last weekend from it, like people I had no idea that are like massive diehard fans of this. That I had no idea that Masters of the Universe had this big of a fan base. I think Netflix knows what they're doing. I think they came to Kevin and they told him, they were like, look, we don't want you to reboot this. We don't want you to do like anything. We want you to take the original and continue it for adults nowadays. And that's what he did. Because originally he was like, I can't do a kid show. I'm not going to do a kid show.
Yeah, but here's the thing, though. If you alienate the fans, they killed off Skeletor, they killed off He-Man. I think that when they do bring it back, even if He-Man returns, which I don't think he's going to return the way people think he's going to return, like he'll become the main character again, I think the fans are out. And I'm saying the fans have a right not to watch something if they don't like it. No matter how much we try to justify it.
I can only
you have a right.
Go ask the Rise of Skywalker about its box office.
I mean, it made $1 billion.
Yeah, but it didn't.
Oh, the Rise of Skywalker. Sorry, I thought you said the Last Jedi. My bad.
Right. Rise of Skywalker still made $1 billion, but it didn't have the impact.
But still, sorry. What was I going to say? So I can only speak for myself. And like I said before, I watched He-Man, Masters of the Universe when I was a kid. Had the toys. Right. I heard about the show. At some point or another, I could have seen myself being like, hey, I'll throw this on real quick. But the minute I was told by Jack, because I didn't really know, like we talked about it a little bit before the show, he brought me up to speed a little bit. The minute it was like, well, He-Man's not in this episode, might not be in the next one. I'm like, Skeletor's not in it. I'm like, what? I don't have me as a person who is like tangentially interested in this. I have no interest in watching this show now. Zero. I don't give a damn about Tila. I don't care how interesting of a character she is. I don't care how great the show might be with her. I want to watch He-Man hold a sword in the sky, have it get hit by lightning, and watch Skeletor run around like a cackling idiot. I don't want to watch Tila, whatever, Tequila. I don't want to watch her do whatever she's going to do.
What was her name? Tequila, that like influencer Tequila.
Yeah. I highly recommend watching it with an open mind because it's not.
I'm not going to watch it. That's what I'm saying.
What everybody's saying is not. That's not true. Like I understand. He is in only 2 episodes of the 5.
It can be good all at once. That's what I'm saying. Because
do you watch in the 1 or whatever?
Do you? Let me ask you a question. Every single thing that people tell you is good, do you watch it? No.
It depends on the person.
The internet, whatever. If someone tells you something is good, have you seen every single thing that someone's told you is good? If you're not interested in it, have you gone and seen it? No.
I'm a pretty open-minded person, Paul. I
think you're avoiding my question. And I think you'd be lying to me if you said
you're right. No, I agree.
Hey, look, there are corners of the internet that I've been down just.
Haven't you not watched the Harry Potter movies? And the Harry Potter movies are pretty
that was
ask
not my
100
choice.
People. Ask
that
100
was not
people.
My choice.
You could have watched them, but ask 100 people. They'll tell you all those movies are a good story. You haven't seen them though because you're just not that interested. So my point is, I'm not going to watch this.
Like 20. Go for it.
I'm not going to watch this He-Man show because I'm not interested. I would be more likely to watch the He-Man show if it was terrible and had He-Man and Skeletor in it than I would be if it was fantastic and it had Tila and her little group of whatevers.
Can I give an analogy?
That's the truth.
No, that's the truth. You're being honest. I'll put it to you this way. There's a video game coming out next year called Gotham Knights, right? Mm-hmm. And right off the bat, in the trailer, they tell you Batman is dead.
Right.
He is not in this game. This is not an Arkham sequel. It's going to be Batgirl, Robin, Red Hood. It's going to be those people. That game had the balls to say, hey, look, it's called Gotham Knights. Now, fans can speculate whether Batman's actually dead or not, but the point is, in the trailer, multiple times they say Batman is not in this story. This is a Batgirl, Robin, Nightwing, Jason Todd, Red Hood story. They're the heroes of this. That's why it's called Gotham Knights. You can tell Netflix was afraid because of the fact that in the trailers, they made it seem like it was about He-Man. I would have given them props if they had said, look, if they had told you in the trailer, He-Man is gone. who will now lead, what's the place called? Eternia. Who will now be the leader or whatever.
But she's not trying to lead Eternia.
Oh, whatever.
Like,
I'm just saying, my point is
so clear.
I know. My point, you understand what I'm trying to say.
You're ignoring his point, Austin. I think you're ignoring his point.
If the trailer had been honest and said, hey, look, this is not going to be about He-Man. This is about this character who is not.
We haven't seen the whole thing yet. We don't know. I honestly think it's going to come back and be about He-Man. If I'm wrong, then I 100% agree with you guys and back with you guys. They screwed over the fans.
That's fair.
I totally am with that. But I'm almost positive that it's going to come back and be about He-Man.
That would be kind of cool, and maybe they can bring it back, and maybe word of mouth will be like, dude, He-Man's back. What just happened? Oh, Caden.
Whoa! Caden's in here!
Oh, Caden.
I just lost in right because
For all of you wondering, Caden has throat cancer, so he uses one of these things, a voice changer.
Yep. And Caden's having some mic issues.
No, that's what he actually sounds like in real life.
Yeah, guys. If you never knew, that's what our
those meetings
is possessed. It's what happened after he saw The Conjuring Part 3.
Caden, say something. I don't know if you're using a microphone. It might be better to not use the microphone.
I love the microphone.
Nope. That's not it. That's not.
Yeah.
Anyway,
guys, you were making a point, Austin.
But yeah, look, I think it is going to come back in, and plus it got renewed for multiple seasons.
Oh, so, really? Okay. So
yeah, I doubt that they're going to just be like, yeah, He-Man's dead forever. I do think I mean, I like I said, I've heard some diehards talk about it, and they're like, even they are like, oh yeah, I know where the story's going, and it's like He-Man is coming back and stuff. So that's why I'm
But do you see him becoming like the top guy, and then Teela Davis? First of all, they got Sarah Michelle Gellar, who is like the icon of the super heroine. I don't see her now, like in say the second half of the show or in seasons 2 or 3, now being second fiddle to He-Man. I think she is the main character. Like even if he comes back,
I think she can take a step back.
You think so?
Her character's not that likable on purpose.
Well, I didn't have problems with her. I know a lot of people were like, oh, feminism or anything. I didn't have no problem with that. And then people were like, oh, I bet that's your girlfriend.
Her character's not that likable on purpose because she's not the lead.
Like
she's a stand-in. She's a stand-in, and she's basically getting the team back together for when He-Man comes back and the big Skeletor thing. And like,
all right, Caden, take 2.
Is it better?
There we go. Oh, there we go. Hey!
Way better.
I love it.
Okay, so yeah, Austin's right because I watched the full thing like back to back. So basically, Teela is mad that Adam and her father lied to her about Adam being He-Man because they kept that secret away from her.
Exactly.
Oh yeah. I mean, I actually thought that moment was, I don't know, I thought that was a little bit silly when she's like, oh, I'm mad. I'm like, dude, the guy's dead and you're mad at him. Like, okay, I understand that. I have no problems with her. I'm not one of the, I'm just saying I can get why the fan base is angry.
Okay.
And I'm putting myself, I thought the show was great. I actually enjoyed it a lot.
Can I address
also the other thing was that like basically Teela it disappears after she goes off.
Yeah.
While after the two swords separate and
Yeah.
she goes off by herself and meets Andra.
Yeah.
Andra, right? Is that her name?
Yeah. I think
so they go do rogue missions by themselves and stuff. And Teela doesn't tell Andra about her past at all. And then, they meet an old lady after one of their missions. They meet an old lady, and that old lady turns out to be Evil Lynn, so she can, get Skeletor's skull thing, like staff thing back. Because even though she's not bringing back Skeletor, she still wants to have something of his. And basically, it's just Teela trying to put her past behind her.
Yeah.
But she's brought into this thing because she doesn't want to. She has to, because she has to bring back Adam and He-Man to protect Eternia and bring back magic. So it's about He-Man coming back. It's not about Tila becoming
Here's my
She-Man or
interesting,
She-Ra
why
or
not put
He-Man.
that in the trailers? I would have like they say, hey, look,
Like the thing about also
Gotham
the trailers,
Knights are
was when we were talking, I was watching the trailers. Actually, all the trailers actually showed Adam and Tila pretty much about the same amount of time. Actually, they showed Adam less than Tila. They showed Tila a lot. They showed Skeletor
did the
a lot in
trailers
those
convey that
trailers.
Tila is going to be the main character though?
But yeah, she is technically the main character, but she's the character that pushes the
Jackson's,
plot forward.
when are you
with
upset about a
He-Man.
good-looking animated strong woman being a lead?
I'm not.
Like,
I'm playing devil's advocate. I like
I
Kevin
know
Miller,
what
all right?
kind of videos you
I
watch on the hub. If that's what they call it. Wait, what?
Paul, what are you going to say?
What is Austin talking
Paul
about?
said you wanted to address something.
Well, so-
This is a very adult show. Just so you know.
Justin Hines in the chat said, I doubt Kevin Smith would completely disrespect the source material. Okay, all I want to say is Kevin Smith may not intentionally disrespect source material or like canonical stories and stuff like that, but he has had a penchant in the past. His Batman comic is an example where he just doesn't understand. I'm not saying that's what the show. I haven't seen this show.
Some people say that about Zack Snyder, and they have some valid points.
I can't have that. I can't have an opinion about this show because I haven't seen it. We've just been like pontificating about possibilities and why I don't want to watch it. You know what I mean? All I said was if it's not He-Man, I have zero interest. I don't care how good it is. But it sounds like Caden is saying that it is going to be He-Man. But my point being is that Kevin Smith has had a propensity for misunderstanding characterizations of characters before. So I wouldn't be shocked if he fumbled the bag with He-Man as he did with his Batman comic. So
yeah,
I'm just saying Kevin Smith is not always.
As a new viewer of this stuff, it seems like it's fine, but here because I was listening to Point Dexter Lounge, aka Enosh, talk about it, he loved it, and he was saying that it was a perfect continuation of the story, and it added new characters, and it also added characters that were in the comics for once. Andra was in the comic for like one panel, and she was a redhead for like one panel, and never showed up again. And the people were mad that it's like now she's in this thing full time as a black girl, and it was just no. So it's just like like there's some stuff that people are like overreacting with, and then there's some people who are just like not paying attention.
Well, I think here's the thing. I always say this, and this is me playing devil. The fans have a right to overreact, and it seems like I think Kevin was this Fat Man Beyond is what it's called. He sort of kind of had this attitude where he's blaming the fans. I'm like, dude, you have a very strong, powerful fan base, and Ryan Johnson did this to also, and you don't attack. You can defend your material, but when you attack the fans, I think that's a big misplay.
Right. And the thing, the good thing about Kevin Smith is that he doesn't attack the fans. He says, although the fans feel this way, this is what we really meant to do. Yeah. And then some fans are now like, okay,
when
I
he
understand
said, well, Netflix doesn't care, I'm like, that could be true. But like that's what you're saying is like your opinion doesn't matter to them. Well, then they can cancel Netflix or not watch it. That's my. Because look, Warner Brothers is doing it to us. Those of us who love the Snyderverse, they're just like, bye bye.
Well, the other thing about that is that whole list of what's canon now is totally fake because there's so many. If you take out BVS and JL and Suicide Squad, all the other movies make no sense.
When you take out BVS, Ben Affleck doesn't exist technically.
Yeah, Ben
I think
Affleck
the only
and Joker
and
Jack Nicholson's Joker dies, so Harley Quinn as a character doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
And Birds of Prey doesn't make sense. All these movies don't make sense now if you take out BVS, Suicide Squad, and JL.
I agree with that.
Like now the DCU makes no sense. There's not a single movie that makes sense.
I think the Flash movie will attempt to, like, they'll break the universe in a way that that makes it so they can pick and choose what they want to have had happened and what they don't want to.
And also
to give them the freedom to make things they want to make.
And what also Barbara Muschietti said about this movie is a celebration of DC. It celebrates the past and the future and the present. It's not going to get rid of anything. It's just going to add more to the story. And I think that's what people have to realize is that the DCEU, like if you just look at it like right there without all the complications aside, it makes perfect sense. The DCEU timeline makes perfect sense with you if you add ZSJL to it. because that's basically what every director has been using ZSJL as canon. Justice League, the Joss Whedon cut is not canon to any of the directors. Zack's cut is. That's another thing that fans have to realize, that Patty Jenkins has said this multiple times, that the directors and herself have talked about the whole DCU together and have said themselves that they're going to use ZSJL canon. And Zack Snyder said himself that Birds of Prey is canon to his films because of the Suicide Squad is canon to his films. So Birds of Prey is also canon. Aquaman is canon because they reference the events. And also, minor spoilers, there's some hints to ZSJL and the Ayer cut in the Suicide Squad. That's what other people have to realize that. Also, Gunn's under contract with Warner Brothers. He can't say #release the Ayer cut.
Yeah,
he can't say he can't
happened
trash
earlier today,
Warner
yeah.
Brothers because he is under Warner Brothers contract.
Oh,
If he loses,
that
if he's-
Ayer cut business is a whole
Yeah.
other thing.
There's
Yeah,
certain
I'm
things
sorry.
that a director can and cannot say under a contract that these
Yeah.
people that are saying,
Non-disclosure
why is he
NDA.
saying this and all that stuff, is
Yeah.
that he
I
can't
got-
say
I
that
got-
under contract.
You know what? I got something to say real quick about the Ayer cut.
Mhm.
Leave it alone for now. For the love of God.
Yeah.
If anyone thinks the Ayer cut is going to be drastic, is going to be to Suicide Squad what the Snyder cut was to Justice League, I think they're going to be in for a disappointment.
I think
Yeah.
you're
I'm not
gonna
going
be
to say
in
it's
for
not
a
different,
different
but
thing. Yeah.
And
But also,
but
here's the thing.
It's the middle. It's the middle ground between BVS UE and the Snyder cut. It's like it has had alternate scenes and 30 minutes cut out. But
Yeah.
is it
Right,
going to
right.
be this brand new mega masterpiece movie? No,
Right.
it's not.
This idea that the connected universe concept was thrown out of the window after Justice League, I don't think
that's
the
not true.
connected
James Wan is-
universe concept
James
was
Wan,
ever
Jason
in the.
Momoa, and
I don't think the
Kathy
connected
Yan, they
universe
all-
concept was ever in the bag. I
Yeah.
think Zach was establishing things, and obviously,
right. The other thing about Zach was that he never he was very he wanted directors' visions and stuff.
right to do
He
their
never-
thing. Yeah.
Yeah, he never went into the res room and was like, oh, you have to do this, you have to do this. He was like, oh, you can do this if you want. He never all he was is making sure that the characters at the end of the movie symbolize the characters that he put in. That's all he wanted. That's basically it.
I mean,
And-
I don't know where. I don't know.
Yeah,
If you can show me where WB said this, I'd love to know that. No,
and also
the movie's
I
connected
remember
after
Warner
around
Justice League.
late
on
2017.
WTVD, where you get where people get screeners and stuff. ZSJL has we're reading the Zack Snyder bio thing that they had, and it was praising the hell out of Zack. It was it was just crazy, and I was just like Warner Brothers praising Zack is to another level where it's just okay, what's going on? And also they were praising ZSJL in their summary of the movie. So it's these things that fans need to realize that actually Warner Brothers doesn't want another Snyder Cut release the Snyder Cut situation to happen. So they are going to give these directors these visions because they're like, oh snap, we messed up with these things. They're not going to admit it, because if they admit the things that they happened with Ray Fisher and happened with Snyder, they're going to go bankrupt, and Warner Brothers as a company is going to be gone.
I don't know if that's the case. I mean, if Suicide Squad is successful and The Flash is successful, I think they may just keep going. What do you think?
They're going to keep going. They're the Suicide Squad is getting great reactions. It's there hasn't been a single negative reaction from an actual person that has actually watched the movie. Because if you look at all the reactions are similar in a way that they all it's the moments that you see the jokes are in. It's perfect because it doesn't ruin the dramatic events. That has happened before and after. It's perfect, and then and people are just and then there's this one person that you can tell that hasn't watched the movie at all.
Right.
So.
I mean, and
Paul,
I think
how much time do you have?
I got 10, 15.
Because
All right,
I did want to bring up Pokemon real quick because I know he watches Pokemon.
I have.
Ooh.
I don't actively watch it, but I did watch it.
You
when
did
I,
watch it because I
Real
did.
quick, I want to get this question in before Paul goes too. While we're still on this,
Yeah.
just real quick, what do you guys think of the Suicide Squad? Real quick, are you guys excited for that?
Oh,
Will it be
hell
good? The
yeah.
question is, will it be good? I think it'll be
Are you-
fantastic.
Are you asking if I'm excited to see Starro? Is that a real question? If you've ever read a comic and you're not excited to see Starro, then what? Like what?
I think it'll be
You see,
phenomenal.
like for like you see a bunch of characters about to have a clash with Starro, who is a very fun character and can do a lot of different things and is involved in most major events, like in either tangentially or something, like in Deceased, or was it Deceased or no, it was Death Metals. There was like a valley of Starros where they walk through and they start to lose their mind, and it's stuff like that. And you know, we could get some trippy stuff. Like we probably haven't even seen some things, like you know the moment in Far From Home where Mysterio has Peter tricked and he doesn't know what's real and what's not. There's gonna be a lot of that in this if they keep Starro's what's the word?
I hear that Starro is very comic accurate.
So we will.
I hear most of the movies comic accurate.
Yeah,
I think it'll be
goes full out with comic accurate.
100% we'll get some like mind control stuff. I'm super excited for that. And I'm holding on
all
hope.
The dead Suicide Squad members with the Starro on their faces.
Oh, yeah, that might happen. Didn't Darkseid do something like that too, where he used the Starro to...
and King Shark has to fight?
No, I think you're thinking about Mongol and the Black Death on Superman in it's in the cartoon, and there's a comic that it's based off of. For the Man Who Has Everything is what it's called.
Okay.
I think that might be what you're talking about. But and I'm just excited to see all that stuff go down, and I'm like holding on, like I have my fingers crossed that we get a little offshoot of Starro. His name is Jarro, and he is one of Batman's Robins. It sounds like lunacy, and it is, but it's fantastic. It's so stupid, and it's so great. I love it, and I want something like that.
I think it'll be phenomenal.
And if ever I could put my trust in a director to do something crazy like that, it would be James Gunn.
You know what? I think to add to people, I know. Look, I still have hope. Some people feel like if you support the Suicide Squad or you support the Flash, that you're saying, oh, the hell with the Snyderverse, that you can still enjoy this movie. Yeah, exactly, Paul. No, I disagree with that.
What do you want them to do? What do you want them to do? Just stop making all these movies and then say, okay, no, we're not going to make them. We're going to stop production. We're going to do this, and then we're just going to make Zack Snyder movies for the rest of forever.
Oh my God! The Flash may very well erase the Snyderverse or make it whatever, but it can still be a good movie. And look, I'm more excited about the Suicide Squad than I've ever been. I think the early reviews are good. I think some people, Margot Robbie said it's the best comic book movie. Okay, she's biased. But I think, look, it's going to be R-rated. It's going to be fun. It's going to be, I think it's going to be like The Boys. I think it's going to be like Preacher. I think it's going to be irreverent and more than Deadpool. I think they can outdo Deadpool in terms of like being irreverent. Yes. And I think the breakaway star in this is going to be John Cena. I don't think they gave him that show for fun. I think there's something in that script and that story where he's really going to stand out. Yeah. I don't know.
I do too. I did. And last thing, and then I'll let you move on because I saw it brought up in the chat. What do you guys think of this idea of James Gunn taking on Justice League 2? Because I think if Suicide Squad is good, I'm all for it.
I think it could be good.
I'm all for it. I say, and look, this is gonna piss some people off in the chat. I already know. Because Sean O'Connell tweeted this week. He was like,
and people gave him crap for that.
Give it to James Gunn. You know what? If it's good, give it to James Gunn, dude. That dude has shown time and time and time again that not only can he work with an ensemble well, but he can make a movie that, is dark and adult and still lighthearted and still emotional and still have all of the great comic elements that we love.
And Zack Snyder directs it like Dawn of the Dead.
I'll take that too, but that probably won't happen. But
or what if Zack and Chris Terrio write it and James Gunn direct? I mean, look, I would that make me happy? Would I prefer Zack Snyder do it? Sure, but a couple of weeks ago, I think it was during the panel, someone was on the panel and said like either you support Snyder or you support the comics. I'm like, why can't I be both? Why can't I say, you know what, the Suicide Squad looks great, it'll probably be amazing. It's like there's a part of the fan base that wants you to hate.
Why can't I want to like both? What?
Exactly. I can still want
to like Marvel comics and I like Marvel movies. I want to like Marvel. I want to like DC comics and I want to like DC movies. What? What kind of statement?
Yeah.
You have to choose.
Someone said like, oh, you got to either support Zack or you support. I'm like, I want to do.
The reason I'm watching these movies is because I love the comics. You freaking dork.
Exactly. And I don't want to say who that person was. I was like, that's kind of a stupid statement. Like, like I remember when I was a kid. Remember I was saying earlier I didn't want to see Batman Forever, and I didn't like Batman and Robin. I'm like, oh my god, they'll never make a good Batman movie again. Boom, here comes Batman Begins. Here comes Christopher Nolan, and all of a sudden I'm like, whoa, you could do this with a superhero movie. You know, it is possible. Look, when I heard Tom Holland, I know you're not a big Tom Holland fan, Austin, but like I was like, man, they're doing a third Spider-Man. When I saw Civil War, I'm like, I'm sold. I like that he's actually a kid and not a 30-year-old playing an 18-year-old. Fine, you know, I was sold, and so like again, I was like, oh man, not gonna do a third.
Tom Holland's the best Spider-Man, and it's not close.
He's my favorite. He's my favorite. I love the first two Maguire movies.
And that's where it is, ladies and gentlemen. We are. It's my show now. Jivin with Austin. No.
Austin. What are you doing? What are you doing? Who is your favorite?
Okay,
who is
I'm
your
gonna tell you
favorite
something.
Spider-Man?
Austin, let me just say something. The reason Austin was going to take the up, he's going to a mental asylum. they're gonna deep fry his brain.
Yes. Like I said, I've opted
he's
to
wearing
be
a white
tested
robe.
on. If you guys saw the opening to Army of the Dead, it's going to be very similar to that. My favorite Spider-Man. I mean, I think Toby as Peter kills it. Andrew in the suit for me is Spider-Man. That Andrew Garfield.
You think?
is
Hold on.
phenomenal.
Okay.
In the suit.
Okay.
Andrew in the suit. Andrew in the suit. Andrew in the suit. Andrew in the suit.
Okay.
Andrew in the suit. Toby as Peter. Tom crushed under an airplane. But that.
Hey,
you're entitled to your opinion.
I love the first two Sam Raimi films, but I thought I loved Tom Holland as Superman.
I like.
He's
Hey,
just an annoying little shit.
Check this out. I like all three of them. I enjoy all three of their takes on the character, and I like Spider-Man 3 and Amazing Spider-Man 2 are not the best movies, but I enjoy those characters. I enjoy those people playing those characters. I just think Tom Holland happens to encapsulate the character better as a whole than the other two.
Agreed.
I am a fan of the college Peter Parker, not this little whiny.
He's not really that whiny, is he?
He's pretty whiny.
I don't get the whole whiny thing.
Whiny.
I don't know.
What is he whining about?
You, Austin. He's just you know, he's
always whining about MJ and to Ned and all that, and then whining about.
Tobey Maguire never did that.
Three movies. Hold on. Tobey Maguire spends 3 movies whining about MJ. What are you talking about?
He's not even that great of an MJ, but like.
He literally takes an alien parasite, cuts his hair, dances down the street, and is super mean to everybody. Because he's being a whiny little crybaby about MJ. I know you didn't just say that.
I did not. Look, Spider-Man 3 does not exist in the Raimi verse for me. Okay,
I'm sorry, but I hate to break it to you. I hate to break it to you, but he's whiny about her in the other two too.
In the other two movies, you know, like.
But it's a standable whiny for me. This is I want to punch this kid in the face whiny.
Hayden, you're no longer
Breaking news: Tom Holland sucks.
Okay, I don't know what that was, but real quick.
I got like 5-10 minutes.
You got 5-10 minutes. So hold on 1 second. I'm gonna hit the transition button. Let's talk about Pokemon. So I never really watched Pokemon growing up as a kid. I didn't see Detective Pikachu, but apparently they're going to be doing a live-action Pokemon series at Netflix, and the showrunner is going to be Joe Henderson, who was a showrunner for Lucifer. And I'm not sure if it's going to be 3D animated or 2D animated. Yeah, I'm sorry about that image. Sometimes when I upload these images, they look fine. But yeah, there we go. It's in development. Are you guys excited about this? I haven't ever seen Lucifer, but I heard it's really good. So
well, here's my question: what happened to Detective Pikachu 2? I liked that.
All happening. I haven't seen it, but I heard it was good.
Oh, it was good. That was good, dude.
I'm excited. I wouldn't really like. It doesn't really matter to me who's attached to it. Well, I mean, it does, but like that's not what's gonna sell me on it. I think it's cool to have like live action Pokemon stuff. I watched what's it called, the Indigo League, the like original series when I was growing up. I watched pretty much all of it, and I've gone back and watched some of it. I'm not like a super like I couldn't tell you all the Pokemon and
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that, but I think it's
You're
fun.
a casual fan.
Yeah, and I have like a lot of cards now. I have a lot of cards because I'm just trying to make money, and I sold a couple of them, and I did.
There you go.
But it's I think that's cool. I think it's cool to see. I know some people don't like this stuff, but I like to see like IPs adapted into different versions of itself, and it's like if you can, why not? You know what I mean? And if it's bad, okay, it's bad. Who cares? If it's great, it's great. You know what I mean? It's a movie. It's not gonna hurt anybody, and I'm excited to see a live action Pokemon thing, like for a series, and maybe be a little more in line with like what the show was.
Do you think it might reintroduce the characters to a new generation of kids who maybe didn't
It could.
grow up in the 90s and the 2000s, maybe?
And that's
like
another thing. That's why I think readapting or bringing back IPs is a good thing, and you can like have kids like enjoy the same things that their parents did, and just in a different way and a new take. And I think that's cool.
What if they kill Ash in the first episode and replace him with a
Yes!
girl?
Do it.
And I was just like, oh,
And you know
subverting
what?
expectations.
And you know what? Ash goes by guillotine too. It's brutal. Pikachu sits there and watches. It's great.
Pikachu. Did you guys ever play that mobile game? What was it?
Pokemon Go? No.
Yeah, that was hot for like a year. I host trivia at a German bar, and one of the hot spots was right in front of the bar for whatever reason. And people would like gather outside. I'm like, hey guys, we're giving away prizes. You want a round of free drinks? Come on in. And it actually helped the bar during
business.
trivia night.
Right.
It helped business because groups of people would come out like, oh, we're catching it, whatever. And I'm like, come on in, folks. Come on in and have a beer. Of course, then there were kids who were like, no.
I will say, interestingly enough, this is another IP that Netflix has taken from Warner Brothers. So
Yeah.
we will. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm shocked that Warner Brothers didn't stick with put it on HBO Max, but they're lost.
But did they buy it
run
from
with
Warner Brothers, or are they licensing it the same way that Netflix licensed the Marvel characters? Like, I don't see.
I don't. Oh, that's a good question.
The
actually. I
Pikachu
don't know.
movie was Warner
Producer
Brothers,
Caden,
wasn't it?
behind the scenes, can you find that out first?
The Warner Brothers did make the Detective Pikachu movie, right? I think that was Warner Brothers. I might be
They
wrong.
did. Yes, they did.
Yeah,
Yes,
so
yes.
they might be licensing it. Like, hey, you know, would surprise maybe HBO Max is like, yeah, we don't want it. Like,
Just like they did with the
Netflix.
Long Halloween to Amazon Prime.
yeah, there you go. Yeah, no, but like, hey, you guys.
Well,
make money up.
wait, what?
Like Long Halloween didn't come out on an HBO or on a Warner Brothers platform. It just went to Amazon Prime or whatever.
Yeah, they might have paid for it.
Oh, no, I just bought it on Amazon Prime, dude.
That's like what? No, I'm saying that's the only place I could find it.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh,
It was that-
yeah, it's on HBO Max. You're right. Okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll probably be on HBO Max eventually, but I think they're just
Okay, so
it's the
producer
video on
Caden is
demand
saying
first.
Netflix. He thinks they did buy the streaming rights. So like, yeah, it'll be like that. So I think Warner Brothers still owns it, but like
Maybe
Netflix
the
is
movie
paying
rights and
them.
the show rights are different. Maybe
Exactly.
like a television series, and I don't know.
Hey, do you remember like Batman the animated series, Spider-Man, and X-Men were all Fox? You know, that was
I know.
Fox Studios. Even though one's owned by Warner Brothers, one's owned by Sony, and the other one was
Right.
owned by Fox.
Yeah.
It's just tricky how that works, you know. Like the film rights for Daredevil and the X-Men were with Fox, even though it's owned by Marvel, who's now owned by Disney. It can be tricky. Yeah, they're licensing to make money. Like, hey, you guys make it, you know, and then just pay us.
Yeah.
So that's probably what it is.
Well, that's how Marvel didn't go bankrupt in the early 2000s.
Yeah, that's why they sold
literally
those
all of their
characters.
characters. That's why Fox and Sony had the characters that they had, because Marvel wasn't going to be around if they didn't
Nope.
do something like
Daredevil had a series on Fox. I think it was only one season. It wasn't that
that. I don't
big.
even know.
Yeah, it was an animated
I don't
series.
think
It
I've ever
wasn't
even.
bad, I heard.
Oh, an animated series. Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't bad, I heard, but like it just didn't pick up. Like I think maybe they did like 10 episodes and they canceled it. But it was made by Fox, but you can't even find it. Like I found out about this recently. I'm like, holy crap, they had a Daredevil cartoon on Fox. Ugh.
Oh, yeah, I heard about
Yeah,
that.
but basically, yeah. So I always give Fox credit for making that first X-Men movie. It may not have aged as well or be as exciting as recent films, but it was a director taking the source material seriously. You know, it wasn't tongue in cheek.
I think it was. Yeah. And then
I still like those first two X-Men movies.
X2, yeah, X2 is good. I don't think Last Stand's as bad as it gets a rap for. I
No,
don't think
it's
it's
not.
great, but I don't think it's as bad as a rap as it gets.
No, I agree with you there. And Days of Future Past, even though it wasn't a 100%.
I love that movie. I love Days of Future
I
Past.
love that movie. That's
a different take from the.
I still
comics,
think they should bring Patrick Stewart as Professor Xavier. The dude is playing Captain Picard again. He's alive and kicking. I'm like, yeah, just bring him back. Just figure it out. Just bring him back. Just I loved him, but
hey man, the multiverse is open now. So
yeah, multiverse is open. Have
Anything
Patrick
possible.
Stewart come back. Why not?
But I know Paul has to get going here for work.
I do,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
All right, Paul. Don't worry, because now we're gonna get into sleazy stuff, like Bennifer.
I'm also leaving as well, guys. So
now we already did my Bennifer joke.
talk. No.
We were just gonna go over the Exorcist and Ant-Man, and they started filming Ant-Man 3. I don't know if Paul, you have anything to say about that, because I didn't mind the second film. I liked it for what it was. It was.
I like the Ant-Man films.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm hard pressed. Like, I think there are Marvel movies that aren't great, like X-Men 2, X-Men 3. Excuse me. Iron Man 2, Iron Man 3. What's it called? Thor 2.
Captain Marvel.
I actually don't mind Captain Marvel. I don't love it, but I don't mind it. I think a lot of that had to do with people who don't like Brie Larson, which I get.
Yeah.
But I like the Ant-Man movies, and I'm excited for that movie. I think that movie is going to have a really large impact. And Kang is the villain in Quantumania. So.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people don't realize
right.
Ant-Man and the Wasp was very pivotal to Endgame. It was the connective tissue. A lot of people dismiss that. I mean, first of all, it's supposed to be a comedy, so like that's fine. I always loved the characters. And the actress who plays Ghost, I liked her too. I forgot what her name was. She's also in the Star Wars trilogy, the newer one. I'm surprised that movie gets as much hate as it does. I
don't know. Ant-Man 2 got hate. I think that movie.
A lot of fans are like, "Oh, it's like there with Iron Man 2 or Thor: The Dark World."
I think it's more fun than Iron Man 2.
I think it's way more fun than that. I think the comedy's great.
I didn't see it.
Oh, you didn't see it? It's actually pretty good.
Care.
Hannah John Kamen, she played Ghost. Okay, but I liked Ant-Man and the Wasp, and I love the guy who played the bad guy in Ant-Man and the Wasp. He was in the show The Shield. He's like a Southerner. He's got that thick Southern accent.
Lawrence
I don't know.
I'm
I'm trying to remember what it is. He reminds me of Trevor Phillips from Grand Theft Auto, but it's not him. I forget what the actor's name is.
Did you talk about the villain in the first one?
The second one, the one who's like trying to get the briefcase. The one that the Wasp goes to meet and like they have a meeting in a hotel. Oh my God, what the hell's his name? He's the guy that interrogates and they give the truth serum and like it is truth serum.
Caden said Walton Goggins.
Walton Goggins, yeah.
Walton Goggins, yeah.
He was in a show called The Shield, by the way, the best cop show over the wire. Yes, I said it. He played a cop in that with Michael Chiklis, phenomenal actor. Right. But I loved him. I mean, he's a good character actor. He kind of slips in every now and then. But Paul, I want to thank you for filling in for Austin. It's a shame Austin couldn't be here today.
We missed him, man. I can't stand that kid, but I mean, I guess
listen, if you want to take his place from now on, you are more than welcome.
Easily.
Yep. I had a blast.
Slowly being phased out.
Yeah, always. I always have fun coming on here and talking with you guys.
Plug yourself real quick. You're Into the West. Tell us about everything.
So we have at Into the West Comics on YouTube. We're right around 250 subs right now, which is super cool. Getting about 100 views on each episode. I really appreciate all the support. I see a lot of the guys from here that have heard me not like all the things they like, and they still come over and watch, like TW and Adam. I've seen guys come over, and I really appreciate that you guys enjoy me and then come and see the rest of the guys talk, because we work really hard on our show to make it something that's a lot of fun. Cancel Austin, yeah. So Into the West Comics on YouTube, _comics on Twitter. I have a lot of fun talking with Austin and everybody on there. And then Into the West Comics on Instagram. We're a little over 1,000 followers now, and we have just got a bunch of merch. We got a bunch of shirts, a whole bunch of sizes. Hats. We're selling really, really cool hats. Go check out our page and you can see the hats. They're really, really nice. Like, I am in love with the way they came out. The shirts are $15. The hats are $20. Ty's going to yell at me about what's it called? Teespring. Where I think we're working out using Shopify right now, but we're still looking into Teespring. But as of right now, just hit us up on Instagram, and we'll like do an exchange or whatever that way, and send you a hat or a shirt if you want it. They're really clean, and I'm not just saying that because it's ours. They're like actually really, really wonderful material and stuff. And yeah, that's it. At @into_comics on Twitter, into West Comics everywhere else. Thank you guys. I'm really, really love doing this with you guys.
Of course, man. Of course. You're welcome back anytime.
I want to thank Austin. Also, Austin got you involved. And look, you, Donovan. Yeah, Donovan. Yeah, right. I said Donovan. Right. Yeah. Both, I'd love to have back. Donovan has to come back, and I wanted to say Thanos' lines in his Trump impersonation. Like, I was love to. And anytime.
And you were right, Paul. You're right. There's Ty. Teespring better.
I told you he was gonna yell at me.
He yells at everyone, man. That's who he is. All right. Thank you so much, Paul, guys.
Absolutely,
thank you, man.
Thank you so much for joining us. God bless. Woo.
Yep.
There we go. And we're back.
You're stuck with me, baby.
Stuck with you.
That's right.
Man, that was a phenomenal. I knew
that was a lot of fun.
Time. A lot of fun. You know,
I
know
had to join in, man.
Is when I have like a list of topics and we just go right into the first two, and like sometimes like Tom will be like, "Don't you guys have more topics?" It's like, dude, if we can, like, we just talked about Jordan, Superman, and the Flash, and we hit on Pokemon, but like the more we kind of get into something, I have fun with that. I mean, yeah, we got other stuff to talk about too. But did you see?
I just want to call out this hashtag real quick, dude.
Lean on me.
Love it.
Oh!
Lean on me.
I love
it's happening.
Dude, that's your new Twitter handle.
It's going viral. It's going out. Hashtag lean on me.
I love that. Lean on me. Oh, that's perfect.
I love it. That TW, I might actually make that a segment.
That should be your new
That's
Twitter
gonna be
handle.
a segment. Oh, dude, I love that. I'll give you credit and everything. Lean on me, created by TW McKay. How does that sound? I love that. That is brilliant. Isn't Austin? Well, Nick, if you must know, yeah, they're having to remove the third one because it's just too much for,
he's getting a penis
for the
reduction
ladies to handle.
Yeah, there you go.
That's right.
Oh,
that's right. Yeah, getting the all expensive inclusive reduction. They have to
make it
bring
smaller.
me down from a size extra large to size extra large, if you know what I'm saying. Hashtag sponsored by Trojan. Hashtag lean on me. Anyways, Jack, go ahead.
Listen, did you by any chance see Old? Did you get a chance to see that?
I didn't see Old. I did not.
Okay.
I have not had the.
So
the
it's
chance,
by no means one of Shyamalan's best movies. I think it's very divisive because some fans liked it, some fans didn't. It reminded me, like, I recommend seeing it. It reminded me of a Twilight Zone episode, like made into a 2-hour movie. You know, smooth. Get my Thai impersonation. Smooth my ball. Smooth as a leg.
Smooth as a neck.
With my
You're
serial
gonna
killer
feel
voice.
so good.
Guys, if
Hey,
you ever
guys,
give like a really big, if you guys ever do a really big super chat, I'll do my TY impersonation, and then the show will be canceled because he will not like it.
Yeah, if you guys give a really big super chat, we will
I don't know if I
the
would do it,
entire
man.
show
It's kind of mean because
as
like
Ty.
I have nothing
I'll
against
do
it. But, like,
if you give a $100 super chat, I will do the entire show as Ty. I would dress
how about
up
we
as
both
Ty.
do this tie? Like I'll do my
even-
tie, you do your tie. And what just happened? What happened?
I will even format my. Oh God. Okay, I will format my room. They're trying to. Okay, this is the bet. You drop $100 right now. I will dress as Ty. I will act. I will basically pull full up identity theft on this guy. Like I will be Ty for a day. So yeah, guys, $100 in the super chat. I'll do a vlog on it too. I'll do the entire day as Ty. I'll walk around Las Vegas as Ty. I'll tell people. I will shave my beard. That's a lot. Because I never shave this thing. Like I
gotta leave a little bit of hair right here, like a little.
Yeah, he's got the little blonde. I'd have to dye it blonde
little
too.
whiskers.
Ty's thinking I might do it myself. I might just pay it.
Serial killer voice.
I will vlog it. I will walk the day in Vegas as Ty. We have an Avengers campus here. I'll go there as Ty and be all excited. Look at this Iron Man! Oh my gosh! Oh, this is so freaking cool!
You gotta do like the 80-year-old asthmatic voice, you know?
Right.
Kind of like
Well, I
might lose your
imagine
voice
that's what
by.
Ty likes when he gets. It sounds like when he gets excited. We would.
You gotta put a baseball cap forward, have the mic behind half your face like this, and you gotta
exactly. He's he's got the camera. He's gonna be Okay, guys, here it is. X2, X3, Iron Man, all the suits right here. It'll be great. But yeah, man. No, I didn't get to see Old. I heard mixed things.
It's not amazing. It's not like Sixth Sense or Unbreakable good.
Right.
But he's an auteur. He has his style. Some of his dialogue's kind of clunky, and I think depending on how you feel, the explanation might leave you a little bit unsatisfied. Some people predicted it, some people didn't. But it was like, you know what, more like The Outer Limits, like those kind of like anthology shows where something weird's going on and how do we solve the problem and what's going on, and it was kind of like that. I enjoyed it. I saw it in theaters. I'm not saying it's like one of his better movies. It's not as good as Split, but I would say it's like above like The Happening, but I enjoyed it. I'm also going to see The Green Knight Friday night. The reviews for that.
I cannot wait. That is a movie that I truly cannot wait to see. I have been following and waiting for this movie since last year when it was supposed to come out.
I didn't know this movie was being made.
It was supposed to come out last year. I really wanted it. Obviously, the pandemic happened, and there was a lot of talk if it was going to go to streaming or not. My anxiousness was like, put it on streaming because I want to see this damn movie. But I'm so happy that they decided to wait because from everything I'm hearing, this is
yeah, I'm looking at. Are you looking at the same thing now? So Sony Pictures Entertainment catch up with Spider-Man: Homecoming and Far From Home with deals this week.
Hold on. Does this mean we're gonna get a clip?
Maybe. We
might. Oh my God, Jack, we might get a clip. Oh my God, Jack, we're gonna get a clip. We're gonna get a first look. We're gonna get a first look. We're gonna get a first look. Stop.
I'm watching it. I'm
Come on. Caden, you're the worst, dude. You're the absolute worst.
Get it now digitally.
There was nothing.
Nothing. No, they didn't. Nothing.
There's nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, look. Sorry, guys. So we took a second. I know that was so random.
We got some breaking news about Spider-Man.
We got sent something from our producer that we thought was going to be possibly a first look at Spider-Man: No Way Home.
No, that's right.
And it wasn't. It wasn't. But I mean, I hope that trailer comes out soon, man. They're cutting down to the wire with that.
Yeah, I think they're worried that it'll be because obviously this is probably the most anticipated Marvel movie this year. It might take away from Eternals and Shang-Chi, and they don't want that either.
Right? Yeah, it could also hype it up, and be like, God, now I want to see all the Marvel movies.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know. Tyler, trust me, I was excited too, and then Caden let me down.
Yeah, it was just, there's a sale going on digitally for the first two MCU Spider-Man movies. But yeah, listen, real quick before we gotta go. But the Green Knight, I'm excited for it. The reviews coming. I showed you a thing that said 93%. I think it's up to 95%. The Spider-Man trailer is actually the post-credit scene for its own movie. Oh, maybe. Remember when what was it Captain America where the post-credit scene was a trailer for the first Avengers?
Yeah, it was Captain America. It's the only reason I saw Captain America.
Oh, really? I liked Captain America, the first one.
Yeah.
I liked it. That's a fun movie. I mean, it's a movie that could go very wrong just because, like, he takes steroids, becomes super. That's the only Captain America movie I would say that's kind of campy a little bit. Like, but it works. It needed to be. And then you get the Winter Soldier where you can take the character a little bit more seriously. But I think that first Captain America movie. You thought it was boring?
Yeah.
Really? For the man who liked Black Widow. No.
I did. Whoa! I was not that much of a fan of Black Widow. We established.
All right, sorry. Ty liked it. Ty was like.
I think we've established that I am basically becoming the guy who hates everything on this show. Yeah. I'll take it. I'll take it.
And folks, I think we're gonna wrap it up. Austin, Thursday, I think it'll be me and Ty,
Hey,
right?
hey,
Or it might be
first
me.
of all,
and-
real quick, first Avenger equals campy garbage. Oh!
Amanda likes to watch that all.
Anyways, yeah, guys, I will be out the rest of this week. Just dealing with some personal things, but I will be watching from afar, like God Himself. I will be omniscient and looking upon this channel to make sure that everything is staying afloat. As I am, obviously.
I'm assuming
the guy
either
in
Ty's
charge.
filling in, or it might be like when TY's corner first started, and it was just me, like this.
I believe Ty is filling in. Ty is filling in. So yeah, guys, make sure and check that out. Ty will be here Thursday, fill in for me, as I will be out until next week. But guys, lots of fun stuff, obviously, in the works. We are going out with a freaking bang live in July. Wayne T card this Saturday, July 30th. I believe it's July 31st. Is the
31st, yeah.
So
Green Lantern
literally last
himself.
day, the final day, guys. Please make sure to tune in. Please make sure to share, guys. Don't forget, this will be your last opportunity to give towards such a great cause, bringing awareness towards breast cancer and helping women who just can't afford things outside of the medical stuff like wigs, things like that. It's really a beautiful thing. It's a great cause. So we have that to look forward to on Saturday, closing out the month, and then we go into another big month. We're closing out summer send off August, and it's going to be another great month. Me and Ty have exclusive tickets to go see the Suicide Squad early in our area, so we'll be seeing that this Thursday. So this Thursday night, I don't know if we'll be doing a show. Actually, Ty, I'm gonna tell you right now, you won't be.
Thursday?
Yeah, we'll be seeing the movie this Thursday. I'm gonna tell you right now, Ty, you won't be able to do a show. Not from there. No, I'm telling you right now, like. I have been these screenings. They get pretty serious. They take your phones away. They do a whole thing.
Yeah.
He is right in that you want to be there like a couple hours before to be in line and stuff.
So it just might be me all by myself like this, the way we used to do it, guys. Do you remember March, April, May when it was just me?
That's right.
Remember that? It was just me.
Maybe
to myself. Yeah.
Maybe after the show, Ty. But I can guarantee you, from the time you get there till it starts, you'll be in a line or in the theater.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm super excited. We'll give a non-spoiler. I don't know when the embargo lifts, but we will
probably close to August. Perhaps.
Yeah, but we will tweet our initial reactions, and then once the embargo lifts, we'll have a non-spoiler review.
Oh, Caden says it's lifted. Ooh. Oh my!
Oh, the embargo's been lifted. Next day, we'll have a review out. We'll be on that.
Why not? Why not?
Like white on rice.
White on rice. And listen, as I close the show out, I'm only going to post it here because, well, why not? This is J-Lo at age 52.
Ooh. You missed the wrong picture, dude. You got to get the picture of
that
his
one.
Hands gently resting.
Oh, we showed this one earlier, guys.
No, the one with his hand.
Oh, I don't think I have that one. But here, guys, pay attention to this as we close the show out. Caden, get the ending ready. Remember, folks, look at that. Look at that. We wanted to talk about this, but Austin said no. Oh my! All right, guys.
No, I'm okay with this. I'm okay.
You're okay with this? Yeah. Look at that.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is okay.
Yeah. Well, you'll get an autographed copy of this photo signed by me.
Right. Signed by myself.
Signed by myself. I got a cool signature though. Guys, thank you so much. I want to thank Paul, and I want to from Into the West Comments. I want to thank Austin. I want to thank Caden for producing. I want to thank Tyler for doing the skits and everything. He is the rock on which we stand. Guys, I appreciate all of your support. Hey, it's been 2 months. 2 month anniversary of Jivin With Jack. 2 months and we're still not.
What?
Yep, we're not.
What?
Yet.
2 months? We're 2 months old?
We're 2 months old.
Can I drive the car now?
Oh, yeah, if you can. Yeah, you can.
Yes.
We'll put you on some meds and we'll record it.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, remember, always, we do it for you, and we do it for the culture. Kevin, get in here!